I feel lonely by your side, in the middle and this is on the way. Nico doesn't even have ultimate back. Yes, Senna has to flash out, but then she gets the R off, and it's disaster for Nico Solar. Turn into a 3v3. Zach comes in, misses everything, misses the Q! The E barely goes in between it, but the Q just goes wide. The teleport comes in from Nico. Nico's gotta have at least the kill on Zach, but there might be an amazing ult. She has flash. Goes in for the re-engage, knocks up no one, gets shot before he gets the second Q. The Sentinel ult is everyone! Red King does get the dragon, but I'm not sure they can win the fight. So does one health. Nico goes down without being able to do anything.
Hey, Orange in here. Ability's trying to engage down a little damage come down to him. Malachi is almost dead. The Sentinel ultimate comes out. Oh, okay, Lily is in the back line. So Lily's in the front line. Nocturne goes deep, does not matter. He's dead. Veigar shows just walk in the opposite direction of this fight. Here we go. Nocturne's back in the back line, and again, does not matter.
They can just do whatever they want. Malphite ult hits 3. Yumi ult with the follow-up damage. Zeri R'ing over the wall, not willing to E over, and dies instantly to the Varus Q plus the Fizz coming in. Fizz dies for it, however. Coley coming over, killing Ito with the flash forward just to make sure. Zeri just is in, which is ridiculous. Flashes over the Varus R, misses the hook, and that Zeri is back in the game. Meanwhile, Fizz is able to kill Zeri. UV Awesome's already half health. Root comes out. Maokai ult is good. Zeri goes down immediately. The flash forward from Maokai to W onto someone. The Sonya's on Parmesan means that he can still try to assassinate someone. UV Awesome is full health, however. They might not even look at the Baron. They might look at it ending the game. Ito barely getting over the gate. Magic Cloud splashes in for some kind of miracle kill. Doesn't get it. Malphite teleporting to stop the Fizz. Has been ending the game this entire time. Okay, hello, it's the LXC's Winter Split Week 4 for Sentinel. And,
Sentinel.
yeah, Jade Sentinel. And we're going to be watching White Lotus versus RAWR. And I'm really excited for some of these players. Specifically, I was just reminding myself because of the replay. Jonakis and Magic Claps are back in the bot lane, and they have brought some really interesting picks to our league so far. They've played Udyr Senna, and I think the other one was Mundo Senna. It's just not typical Senna lanes. Let's just say that. Oh, it's Senna Cho'Gath.
Really?
I don't know if White Lotus will allow the Senna to go through. Whenever Senna was banned versus NLR, Jonakis went with Nautilus, and they played a regular bot lane. But if Senna goes through, expect to see some interesting bot lane picks for sure. And then, of course, we can't talk about picks that want to go through without talking about the Daz and his Yone. I mean, that guy is the leaderboard on the killers for a reason. 87 kills whenever the second is UB Awesome at 82. That's a lot of kills for just 9 games so far.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's average almost 10 kills a game, right? It's 3 short of that.
Yeah.
So expect to see, no matter what the Daz is playing, there's going to be some kills there. Possibly first blood. Actually, let me check first blood as well. Is that a stat we have? Maybe not, but head-to-head. I remember now. In head-to-head we
use
do.
your head-to-head.
I believe that these stats are open to everybody
They are
in the Discord. So you can check this out yourself. Once I remember how to find
So while she's looking that up, super excited about the game because RAWR and White Lotus are both tied with 6 wins and 3 losses. So tonight we get to see who's going to try and solidify themselves into the first seed with 2 weeks to go between the two of them. So I'm excited at least for that.
Okay, so out of 9 games, the Daz has gotten first blood 4 times. Let's go into draft. I'm really interested to see if the Yone and Senna ban come out from opposing sides. First, it's Gwyn for White Lotus. I respect that as well. It does seem like these solo lanes want to really go off Yon, first ban for RAR. Makes sense. Zac ban. Um, I think that champion is really annoying everybody right now, so I respect that ban as well. Udyr ban makes a lot of sense. Here comes either the Senna ban or we're gonna see a really interesting lane. I mean, maybe Jonicus has cleaned up his act since I shouldn't say cleaned up his act, just standardized it, you know?
This is not gonna clean up an act.
What storylines are going into this game?
That's
Mostly the
because
Daz and Jonicus's interesting support arc. Senna is banned, however, so both of the things that I set up are just gone completely. Maokai picked immediately. Um, for these two teams, I mean, RAR is. Let me look at this again.
well, we're adding another Maokai counter to our most picked
Oh yeah.
champion.
Oh, Twisted Fate is really exciting. New AD Twisted Fate has been really busted. You don't want to see this as the only magic damage on a team, so RAR has to be mindful of that with the Pantheon pick. But these picks are definitely looking for kills. The Daz and other, I mean, with the Daz in the game and Twisted Fate and Pantheon, there's going to be quite the kill count at the end of the game. Anyways, for
So
other
yeah, so I'm hearing this is like a global comp, and there should be like a nocturne we should be expecting to see.
You know, that's kind of interesting. I didn't really consider that, but they do both have ultimates that really want to pick. They might not go for the Nocturne, they might just go for something that can handle Twisted Fate and Pantheon side leaning. But
Mm,
going with the Varus
I mean, it's
with these two
RAR.
tanks. No, no, I'm just thinking because Maokai and Sejuani have such good R buttons that it's kind of hard for Twisted Fate and Pantheon to be on side lane if because you don't want TF to be ulting in after a Sejuani R has gone down, after a Varus R has gone down. You want him to be the one either side lane or engaging the fight by gold carding someone important.
Right.
So it's a really nice engage comp so far from White Lotus. And I'm curious what RAR's going to do aside of that. They just keep on drafting like absolute snowball champions, essentially, is the way to put it. I don't know where that Pantheon's going, but it definitely wants to get kills early or else it kind of falls off, from what I understand. Corki ban is really interesting because that means they think the TF is bot lane, I believe. And I'm not sure if that is really. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the TF is going bot lane, but the Corki ban makes sense if you do think that because um, I believe
Somebody, I
Vesperized
saw
played it
somebody was
before.
doing a lot of Corky, and I'm pretty sure
I know the Daz has done it in weeks past,
it's
but
Rooker.
obviously
That's
White Lotus was the
right.
one that banned it. So I guess they know it because in this they're scared of it, which fair enough.
Yeah.
Uh, these are a lot of flex picks though. Like it's not clear where Sejuani and Maokai are going. It's not clear where Pantheon and Twisted Fate are going. Bans are kind of hard. Acel, I'm gonna say it. RAR's comp as four champions, like separately, they look good, but together I'm a little confused. I like the lanes they're setting up in terms of like Bel'Veth can gank bot lane very easily if it is Twisted Fate Pantheon. But then you have Acel mid, which means that your mid lane's a little weak, which is hard to play with something like Bel'Veth. And then you have Pantheon support, probably. I mean, I guess we could see a top. Hui, however, is a very nice pick into Acel. It's saying we're not going to pressure the Acel, we're going to instead try to outscale it or at least pressure it in a different way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I don't know if what their last pick is, right? Because what role is it even? It's got to be okay. Cassante top. That makes everything fill into
Okay.
place, right? Maokai supports Sejuani jungle. Could be swap still, but I'm imagining it's Maokai jungle. Maokai support Sejuani jungle. And then the last pick here for RAR's got to be top lane, unless that Pantheon is top lane. I mean, I guess that is possible.
That's what
Okay.
we're thinking is that it's going to be an AD Twisted Fate. And what is that, Azir?
Yes, that is a zero on your screen. I believe that RAR has drafted a comp that no
TF,
one could explain.
TF is going bot lane.
I assume
TF
so, yes.
Pantheon bot lane is what we're guessing here.
Right, but if you're drafting TF Pantheon Bel'Veth, why are your last two picks for your solo lanes Aurelion Solazir?
I don't know.
I
You
guess
got
it could
me.
be Asol top into Cassante, and then like you're thinking he can scale and be on an island. Meanwhile, Azir puts out the pressure that I was saying Asol lacks. So if it is Azir mid, it kind of makes up for what I was saying earlier that made Asol so weak. Meanwhile, Asol top lane, if he doesn't get CC'd reliably, he can just kind of sit up there and handle all the pressure. So both of these teams are tied for first place in the league right now. And they've got quite the interesting draft. I mean, I'm gonna say like White Lotus's draft is very standard, right? I mean, this is what you expect whenever you see coordinated play: is champions that rely on each other. You know, the Maokai, Sejuani, Varus
Focus
are
around
all
team
champions.
play and yeah.
And then you've got RAWR, who's just like, you know what?
don't know
We're gonna
what
play
to
the
do.
crazy lanes, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, you can Fury craft and say, oh, your Varus are and your Sejuani are and Mount Kaiar work so well together, but we're just gonna stomp your lane, and we're gonna put Asol top. They never do Asol top in coordinated play, so how do you know how to play against it? You don't. And I guess that's the plan.
I think
Let's double check. We're about to verify the lanes because
yes.
obviously it could be Azir top, and I think that's a little bit safer for the lane, but probably worse for the Bel'Veth. Cassante top is locked in for Lotus, and it is Asol top. I have never played that matchup. I'm not sure that many people have, but I think that it is, if Asol does not get punished here, and it is a lot harder to punish him than some mages in top lane because of his W, and because how Cassante kind of, well, it just depends. But if he does not get punished here by the Sejuani jungle, then RAWR's comp suddenly looks amazing. They can play through bot lane. They have the Azir pressure as well. And Asol just kind of hangs out. But that Asol is still the biggest liability on their team if it does not perform. And you're playing Asol top lane, so there's a very high chance that you give up first blood, and then you say to your team, sorry, I'm useless. Go next.
That or we see them all focused down mid lane. You know.
Oh, that's a good point. It could have been TF top. I didn't even think about that. But even then, you're talking about either Asol or Azir bot lane, and that's not what happened. It is Azir mid. I should have considered that, but that's not what's happening. It's obviously Asol top. Anyone could have told you that.
Not anyone. We all know I could not.
But the lanes to watch are definitely top lane and then bot lane. If Twisted Fate and Pantheon can snowball, get this virus behind, then it doesn't matter how good White Lotus's team fight is if they can't get to the team fight phase. However, if Asol becomes the liability of RAWR, if Sejuani and Cassante are able to punish, putting a mage of that caliber of defenselessness in the top lane, then I don't think the rest of the lanes matter, because Asol will be functionally a minion.
I still think top lane's going to be amusing to watch, if nothing else.
That's true. It will be at least amusing. Either way, we'll have to figure out exactly
does Asol
how
have
the
a
lanes
tank
go.
spec? Like, is there a tank build for Brilliant Soul? Okay.
What you can do is you can rush Rylai's and then you can breathe on him and escape with your W. That's basically your only plan. It's your only out. And Rylai's has health, so I guess technically, but not really. You can also go Rod of Ages, I guess, but even then, you're just hoping that you're better than the enemy top laner in jungle. And sometimes that works. We will have to figure out if it works though after this break when we get back into game.
feel lonely by your side in the middle of the night. I feel lonely by your side in the middle of the light. I'm standing in the dark. I'm listening to you, and all I feel is love. Aggressive vibes consuming me. I'm falling just for you. It's all again, 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 so consume me. You never had any patience. It's like a vision you couldn't see clear. And now our life's a conversation. You bet it's only one side of love. I hear you saying, you say you like me better all the way. And I swear that I try, but I was so blind. They say it works it if you let them stay. So I count my ties, this is my good. And I'm saying,
Okay, welcome to White Lotus versus RAWR, and we've got some interesting level 1 setup. The Acel is on the bottom side, which is normal, except Acel needs to go top lane. And
Do you think he's
this
lost?
Acel, yeah, he might be a little lost. Edoguard is starting tier. This man has no fear in the world. What is going on? I feel like Acel should only start tier in the most secure of matchups, and I understand it's Cassante. So, like, if it was Acel versus Cassante mid, maybe you start tier. I probably would. But you're top lane, and you've got a huge target on your back. There's no chance Prowl is not thinking, what's the quickest possible time I could be ganking Acel? And you've got a tier! Oh, man.
Yeah.
Both junglers starting bot side. So it looks like Sejuani is not going for a cheese gank. Which is honestly what I would recommend. But still, I don't think that Prowl's gonna get the full clear. It's probably gonna be less than 6 camps taken before that Acel gets some Sejuani stacks. Mid lane's gonna be really interesting, by the way. Just Hui versus Azir is a matchup that's pretty new. But it's got different dynamics than most Azir versus Mage matchups just because of how much Hui has to choose options, you know? Usually a mage either has wave clear or poke or CC. But Hui has a little bit of all of it, but he can't access all of it at once. Meanwhile, bot lane is just going to be if Pantheon can get aggressive enough to win a silly fight.
Well, it looks like Acel's at least at the start holding his own up there.
Well, you can't just hold your own. If you're against Cassante, you have to punish him. You cannot just sit there and be like, I'm going to go equal CS with Cassante. I'm going to push the same amount as Cassante. You have to get a minion advantage and you have to get damage advantage, or else he will kill you. Both junglers are pathing there. Sejuani actually did do all 3 camps, so Prowl disagrees with me about how important it is to early punish the Asol. Maybe he really wants some abilities on Cassante because Cassante really wants all 3 abilities to be able to deal with Asol. Bel'Veth also opting to get multiple camps. And bot lane is not as interesting as you would expect, seeing the
I
Pantheon. Like
thought
he's
it was
zoning.
going to be a little bit more. I really did. I thought
It will be. It will be. Trust me. There's gonna be a Pantheon jump eventually. But Magikarps is playing it pretty well. He's stacking up the wave pretty nicely so that it crashed on 4. If he crashes it correctly, he can even get a back off. But we'll see what he decides to do. Like, you can see how this cannon is going to crash with a bunch of minions. They might have, like, just to go for poke. They're backing off, though, so... Okay, this is not the health advantage I want to see for Asol. He did, however, survive being level 3 to level 4 with the minion crash. But now that the minions have crashed, Asol is pushing out, and both junglers are going to be in the area. Zerathorn knows this, so he's actually opting to put a ward pretty deep, or actually be a human ward, and spot out the Bel'Veth. But now Asol is in an interesting conundrum. The minion wave is going to push out, and I doubt that Zerathorn is going to push it back in, right? So, what does Asol do whenever he doesn't know where the jungler is? Meanwhile, the jungler is not there. They're going... Prowl is going for double crab on Vision, I believe. Elects instead to go for a recall, so Prowl has gone from top crab to raptor pit to recall. Not the best use of time. It did make Pantheon walk up to make sure that Nox Lucifer got the crab, but this means that her tempo is gone for Prowl. Oh, Hwei has a bit of damage here. Getting an E cooldown of Vizier feels really nice.
Well,
okay, Asol's pushing out. He's stacking up the wave correctly. And Ito is not in trouble here because Sejuani's not anywhere near. I don't believe Zerathorn has the all-in. He's going to go for it anyways. Gets the Q knock-up. And yeah, you get some damage, but then you have to walk away. And walking away as a melee champion always hurts. And the wave is still in favor of Edelgard.
Oh, we've got a back on it.
Yeah, he gets to recall here for free. Cassante will not be able to push in and punish him. And he has teleport anyways.
What do you think?
And Sejuani... and Sejuani is just down tempo on Bel'Veth.
Okay, no clue. Got it.
Oh, sorry. What did you say? I probably didn't hear you.
What item Asol was gonna buy?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, in between games, or right after the draft, he's got to rush Rylai's.
Okay,
you need that slow, and that's what the Giant's Bolt is doing. It does mean he has no combat stats, though, right? He's got Tear for mana, Giant's Bolt for health, and absolutely 0 AP other than runes and stuff. So
it's like a mid gank, maybe. Nope.
No, I think Bel'Veth wants some kind of objective. I'm not sure. I mean, Bel'Veth and Sejuani are usually known for getting some kind of early gank, but both of them have just been farming so far.
Yeah, I've seen him like go up and touch lanes and then leave. Zerathorn.
Okay, they're just recalling each other's faces. That's fine. Meanwhile, bot lane, it's John trying to force the issue. I kind of like this because the wave has to push in, and Magikarps cannot leave this wave the way it is. So getting Pantheon to stay means that he can't recall and come back. Meanwhile, jungler's fighting. Oh, the flash forward. This means Ox is in a lot of trouble. He should die here. Flashes out at a really good time, but Wei uses the ultimate and the flash to secure it. And that is 5th first blood for the Daz out of 10 games. Every other game, the Daz is getting first blood, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a bunch more kills.
And the Daz has been carrying pretty hard.
Okay. Bot lane's playing kind of interesting because Twisted Fate has plenty of mana, but Varus does not. So the jump onto Maokai comes in. The knockaway, however, means Jonicus is at half health already. Kind of hard to engage into a Varus with half health, and certainly hard to play in lane without engaging against him whenever he's poking you constantly. I kind of think Jonicus and Magikarps need to call for jungle pressure here pretty soon. But Sejuani's recalling.
Because if you look, their items, like they're one of the only lanes that really hasn't had a chance to back or get anything else.
Yep.
I feel like they're kind of behind, and as per the rest of the
Okay,
lane.
so they should freeze here if it's John plays this correctly. They should. Oh, but they kill the cannon. They could have absolutely demolished the tempo of Magikarps and Jonicus by simply freezing and denying another wave. However, by showing that they're going to push, that also denies a wave, so it cancels the back of Jonicus and Magikarps. But here's the jungle pressure they needed, and Nox is here, and it's John is in so much trouble. Yes, he has Flash, he uses it, but the gold card comes through, the Flash forward from Pantheon, and they get a kill for Magikarps, and that's purely just not freezing whenever you had the advantage. So this means Nox gets to get Mountain Drake. Usually you do see the trade of Grubs for Drake, but honestly, most teams opt to get the Drake of that side of the equation if they can. But Sejuani and Zerathorn were so interested in playing against the Asol that they got Grubs instead of Drake to get that extra pressure against Asol. So now, even though Nox Lucifer lost First Blood, he's getting his team the Mountain Drake, which is probably one of the best objectives you could get at this point. Actually, it might be a little bit more complicated. Maokai's here, Varus is not. Sejuani comes in, it's going to be close. The steal goes to Prowl, he gets it, and now the fight is also going to White Lotus. Magikarps is not even able to get a stun off. Nox Lucifer might get up, but the Varus Q comes in. They might get a counter kill on Daz, but not if he gets that good CC. The shield's also really good. The Maokai just barely short, so they're not going to get the counter kill. Meanwhile, the Azir Shuffle does get Prowl, but it's Sean says, we'll take you too then.
Welcome to the LFC, Vesperize.
Yeah.
Game 1.
So actually, RAWR gets nothing. They thought they had the dragon side of the trade. They're like, yeah, we'll take this. We'll be super casual about it. And suddenly Prowl comes over the wall and says, it's actually mine. And we'll take your lives too.
Yoink.
Yoink.
I don't know how I feel.
And as for punishing this Asol, I'm going to give that an F. Yes, you have 6 CS on it, but 6 CS does not make up for how much Asol is going to scale here. Pantheon ult is going to make Disgrace use Cleanse. I don't think it's enough. Gold card is coming, and there's no more Cleanse debuff here. Arrow's pretty good damage, but it's not going to be enough. Surely. Oh, he gets the kill on to Magikarps. I'm not sure if it's Jonicus was trying to give the kill to Magikarps, or it just wasn't enough damage. And somehow Disgrace weaves in just enough damage. Like, that Q was really painful. I don't know. I was not expecting Magikarps to go down there. Yeah, I mean, this is...
Sorry, I was caught watching.
Oh. We all want to just sit here and watch for a second sometimes. Yeah, Zerathorn is wishing that he had more jungle pressure, because look at what he can do, and look what Asol can do. Right? Like, nice trade. Okay, I still have TP. What about it?
Hang on.
And Sejuani's on the other side of the map. It looks like Prowl wants to go for Grubs, and I think that this comes with the Maokai roam, so Edoguard better be paying attention. Like, if I'm Edoguard, I'm going to the second tower. That tower is not defensive enough. Honestly, like, the only way that Asol gets out of the game here is if he stays under tower and dies to a dive. However, they are bringing Pantheon up, so maybe Edo feels comfortable enough to just sit here, and White Lotus will settle for just the Grubs. Not going for any fancy... Oh! Okay.
Oh!
Jonicus, you can't do that to him. You can't do that to him. Void Grubs is so interesting because there's 3 of them, and they all matter, so you cannot smite secure. I mean, you can, but only 1 or 2 of them. And then it's just up to pure damage. So they do get 2 of the 3 for White Lotus, but Jonicus really stealing one that they did not have any chance of getting through normal means.
It was a good steal. It was very well timed.
Yeah, and that shows why it was so important to bring the Pantheon up, even if they didn't want to fight. I mean, just having the pressure meant both that he had the option to steal, but also that the dive on Edo did not materialize. Both supports coming back to their home lane. But Magikarps is recalling, so Jonicus is kind of just sitting here for nothing. He might try to freeze a lane if Disgrace gets a force push, but I don't think he wants to take all that damage. So he will probably just be absorbing XP under tower. Meanwhile, the Daz full health here. And
tell me a little bit about any of the builds that are going on here.
it is ADTF, which you expect. Looks like maybe
So what we
crit. I
thought.
know there's different options. Like some people like the Sheen item that doesn't give crit, but Kraken Slayer makes a lot of sense for sure. Meanwhile, you have no mana and you're trying to push. I don't know if this is really possible here. As far as anything else, Cinder makes a lot of sense from Sejuani, who just, wants to get tanky, obviously. I like the double magic. Oh, wait, meanwhile, Beveth's trying to cover the lane against the Daz, but the Daz has a lot of kills for a reason. You better be careful, Nox. Getting... what's that item? The attack speed AP item at Azir makes a lot of sense. You usually get it first, especially now that Mythics are gone. But even then, you usually got it first. Luden's on Hui for the burst is really nice. And I don't think there's anything like too surprising. I think the only question was, is Ito going to rush Rylai's? He did. And what build of ADTF is going to happen?
So we're thinking crit or what?
Yeah, crit on hit. Sometimes Magic Collapse face checking Prowl has to flash. And that might come back later whenever Dragon spawns in about 1 second. Belveth a little bit late here, but so is John. Meanwhile, top lane, I mean, if I'm Xeothorn here, I am just really sad. Like, look at this. Aesol is Wing in. It might be a mistake, however. Ito, you can't W in like that. That's still a Cassante. He will absolutely wreck your shit if you don't have W. Flash was not going to save you, surely. Oh, it does!
Oh, it does!
With the ultimate. Oh, why do I say things right before they come false? Meanwhile, using the pressure down here, because White Lotus is ahead, they're going to get onto TF, onto Jonas, onto Nox Lucifer, and you can't contest that dragon. Do you not realize that your entire team is this Aesol right now? So that will be the Cloud Drake for White Lotus, and this is their second dragon because of that steal by Prowl. So everywhere except for top lane looks amazing for White Lotus. It's just top lane that, I mean, even Ito slipped up there a little bit.
Yeah, I thought Ito was going down.
I think he thought so too. The flash ult looked like a little bit of a panic.
I thought he was gonna recall. I guess he canceled out of it.
He really understands that he is the win condition now. Like, you can't really rely on the bottom side of the map whenever Daz is 4-0 and Varus is 4-0 and objective bounties agree with me. So he realizes that he has to get every minion wave he can, every stack he can, and playing greedy is the only way that he's going to be the carry for his team. Because the entire game is basically on Ito guard at this point, in my opinion. I mean, I think Magic Collapse could definitely come back and play an important role, obviously. But he has to play against a 4... Yeah, he has to play against a 4-0 Daz and a 4-0 Disgrace. Or 4-1, sorry. It's a little hard. And Daz averages 9 kills a game, so he's got quite a bit to go.
And we see the Rift Herald.
I forget if they got grubs the second time. Oh, you can't even tell on the spectator. Interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea.
They got the first one. I remember that, and Pantheon stole one. I think it was.
They lost one.
Oh yeah. I think they have 5 or something. We'll have to see whenever they auto attack or something. Meanwhile, Nox actually putting a little bit of pressure here because he knows where to play around, but John is roamed up and Prowl's here. There's so much CC. Aesol cannot W. There's no chance. Yeah, objective bounties are falling off. They're coming back soon because Nox and Ito are down. Pantheon ults in! He thinks he's on the blue side! White Lotus is like, what are you doing here, buddy? Wrong team! And absolutely takes him down.
There was no team trade, guys.
Disgrace doing the classic Varus thing. Everyone does it sometimes. Fine. It's the whole point of the champion. I'm amazed that objective bounties are still falling off, by the way. I think after this Herald, they will be coming back very quickly.
Yeah. Looks like they're going to be coming back. If the
Teleport from Aesol's kind of risky. You want to hold this tower, you want to get the waves, but honestly, Prowl and John could see this and go for the dive. It looks like they're not going to because they want to support Disgrace. Disgrace is also recalling, so they will be giving up a wave and sending the duo back bot, I believe. Disgrace cancels back. This TF is really low. Pantheon also here. Magic Collapse is trying to bait, but not fully into it. Decides to back off. And yeah, they're just going to send the duo back bot lane. So Aesol gets that TP off and that wave clear for free. And, it's kind of funny. The weak point of RAWR was definitely Aesol. But
And
White
it's
Lotus
turning
just
into their
said,
strong point.
White Lotus just said, you know what? Have your stupid mage in the top lane. We don't care. Zeothorn can just do top lane thing. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. We'll get counseling for him after the game. We're gonna win everywhere else on the map. You know, your typical picks, the 80 carry plus Pantheon, the Zir, the Belveth, who are all strong snowball picks, will just take you head on and win there. Not the traditional route to punish what RAWR has drafted, but certainly effective. I mean, it's just the dominance over the bot side of the map has shown that RAWR can do your cheese picks all they want. It's not going to work.
No, it looks like they go in prepped and ready and
Okay,
it keeps up.
Disgrace. Oh no, they don't want to go for it. Respectable.
Then you can wipe out anybody that's doing those crazy picks. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll see how long.
Okay, Nox going on Ace John. Ace John does not have much. He has flash, but he has to ult first, so he's not going to get to the wall to even flash. He goes, actually does get to the wall and flashes. He's just
You
too
are
tanky.
jinxing.
I guess. I didn't realize that all of RAWR was just going to sit there and be like, yeah, go ahead, flash. I mean, obviously they didn't. The cooldowns just didn't line up, but it looked very odd.
Well, it's fun seeing a team that has figured out how to deal with RAWR's crazy picks.
I mean, they're just acting like it's a normal team.
Yeah.
You want to put Ace on an island? Fine. We'll outscale him by beating the rest of your team. We'll just pretend that's like a Kale. I don't care. You can have all the farm you want.
Up to this point, it's been like the other teams have been having that little bit of issue with the craziness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to see another team come out and be like, "Hey, no, look, this is doable."
Yeah, I think sometimes it's important to recognize that your game plan is more important than the enemy's game plan if yours ends up doing better. Like, if you are confident in your bot side, it doesn't matter if they pick Acel top lane, who is now in trouble. There's nowhere for you to go. Empowered Acel looks pretty, but it's not going to save you.
Zerothorn finally got his kill.
This is going to be a trade, however. They're giving up a dragon essentially for nothing. Unless they go for this Baron. They finally pressure the dragon in the top side, but the dragon in the bot side's a little bit more important. That's an objective bounty and stats that'll last forever, and a delay on the Elder Dragon just for killing Acel and getting top tower. In my book, that's not worth it.
Could have been much more.
Yeah, but like I was saying, like if you're confident in your bot side and you want to play through your bot side, even if they pick Acel top, if you're sure that you're gonna win bot side anyways, then I guess it's respectable to just pretend it doesn't exist, see no evil.
Yeah,
and allow your top lane to just sit there into Dragon Breath.
Pretend like top lane doesn't exist for a while.
Uh-huh. Honestly, this has got to be scary for RAWR's draft, though. Because if Senna gets banned every game, I'm not sure that Jonicus and Magic Claps have any tricks up their sleeve other than something like this. And it's not that Disgrace really outplayed them, per se. I think that it was an effect to bot lane and jungle. But it is a little bit difficult for them, you have to imagine, to really figure out what draft they want to come up with now.
I think we're losing Scarlet. Oh god, don't let me be the only caster here talking about this game. That'll go so poorly for all of us. Come back, Scarlet, come back.
I'm back, I think. Sorry, my computer was having issues. I was just talking to myself, I guess, for a little bit. Either way.
You're good. No, you were good.
Let's see, what was I saying before I got taken off?
It's alright, look at that mid lane.
Oh, what I was saying is that RAWR really has to rethink their draft strategy because while, you know, it might not be the fault of the bot lane exactly, the fact that things went this poorly or not even leading it ahead at the point of the mid game means that the TF Pantheon is not what you want to get. And I'm not sure if
as good a pick as they thought it was going to be. Yeah.
And the Sun is going to get banned unless White Lotus completely disrespects that as well. They're not going to have any more tricks up their sleeves, surely. I mean, there could be other cheese lanes they have prepared. I suppose I'm, you know, counting them down for that too early, but you know.
We'll see.
Oh, this is a really far engage from Azir, but he's too
Oh.
low. TF is here,
Oh,
but he will go down. But the Daz will go on, and this is a shutdown.
it is.
It goes on the TF, which is pretty good. TF does scale well with items. So, not the worst trade. But man, the way is going off. Meanwhile, White Lotus making the trade a lot worse. You used your globals bot lane. What does
And
that
now
mean
we're
about the
gonna take
purple worm
Baron.
top lane? Yeah, this is just gonna go down. I mean, Acel's having to face check with his breath. He's gonna face check here, and it's gonna be, oh, it's going down. And yeah, Zerathorn does not mess up the smite because that is a very easy smite to do. Oh, Disgrace going for more! Dinonicus has to flash away. They do get 2 towers bot lane, so it's like better than most Baron give up. Most times you give up the Baron at this point in the game, but it's still Baron for not much in return.
Yeah, sad face, but good face at the same time. Good games, guys.
I mean, you don't have time to scale. Asol's level 14. I will do a stack count check real quick. He
Yeah.
has 181 stacks, which is not enough to carry this game. And I mean, look at how vulnerable he is. He doesn't even really have a front line, right? He has Pantheon and Bel'Veth as his front line, and Bel'Veth has gone full damage.
Yeah, she'll.
It is not
Oh,
easy to play
yeah.
the dragon here.
Great, she is. I guess she's a Void Ray. Whatever.
Oh, let me So Dragon's coming up. This would have been Soul had White Lotus not decided to kill Dragon top lane instead of Dragon bot lane. However, Third Drake is still really scary, and White Lotus has Baron. So unless you go for a suicide steal attempt, this is going to be Third Drake for White Lotus. RAWR is grouping. I believe that they're thinking about making their stand here.
Does
They
look
don't
like-
really have the item power spikes, however. Azir doesn't have Leandry's finished. TF has his 3rd item, but I don't think he's going to get that many autos off. And Bel'Veth is just so squishy. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a really good engage from Disgrace. Nox is going to have to flash over. The Maokai ult, however, will find Nox's teammates. A root on Azir is really good. The wall goes a little bit wide because they beautifully step back. That's a kill on Azir. Yellow card will not stun everyone. Cleanse even comes out so it doesn't stun anyone. And Jonicus is in the wrong team again. And that's might even go for the end here with the Baron. Looks like they just want to go for push and dragon.
Straight up mid lane and dragon. Yep.
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 Dragon in both places.
And all they got guarding is Aurelion Soul. Poor Aesol.
Yeah, it feels really bad to be Ito here because you were able to not take any pressure.
He's
You were
trying,
able to scale all by yourself, but the rest of your team just absolutely collapsed. And it doesn't matter that you scale if you don't have anyone to scale with.
Mm.
All right, Daz only has 7 kills. We're expecting 2 more. We'll have to see if he can pick them up before the Nexus explodes. This is going to be a pretty calm period. Baron's not up for 3 minutes. Dragon's not up for 4.5. It's not Soul, or that one will be Soul.
So small little
So
money gains is what we're going to be looking at until something pops.
yeah, basically people are going to be consolidating their gold gains. Where they path people or group people is really important. They have 1 farmer in each of the lanes. The Aesol's getting the super minions, which I really like because he can both survive a lot of pressure. Oh, but he can't survive this pressure. Surely Maokai will only find again Jonicus. Ito was able to W out, which was really well played to find the one angle where he's safe. But now Zerathorn actually playing the weak side and not respecting it. But can he 1v2, 1v3 because Ito's here now? But there's just not enough CC, and now Maokai's here. This is going to be an absolute destruction of RAWR. Nox goes down for sure. And Hueyult looking to do some damage.
Maybe they should have picked up Nocturne.
Oh, the root under tower magic collapse is so low. The ultimate from Pro! He took so many tower shots because he knew he was going to get it.
He's like,
Huey trying for a QW here, by the way. Might just kill. Not going to go for it. Fair enough. Yeah.
Sour.
Not much to say. This game has been pretty much a snowball since the first dragon almost. Teleport comes in to ensure the minions stay. They've got 5 Void Grubs. Ito is now having to slither away. Super minions are going to come in mid pretty quickly. They don't want to wait too long, though, so they're going to back up to the inhibitor side.
I think all they got left is what bot to clear out.
Yeah, I mean, Baron spawning in a minute. You can honestly just go for that, or if you're really, really safe, you could go for the 4th dragon, just to ensure that you're not giving up any chances. You know, if I'm playing for, like, a competitive event, I probably just wait for the dragon. But at the same time, like, you've got such a lead. Even if they steal the Baron, which is such a hard proposition already with a Bel'Veth that's as squishy as Noxus Fur is, you're still probably going to win the game. So I think both choices are totally respectable. What they're actually doing is having Zerathorn push bot lane and trying to get as much pressure as possible. However, if he only pulls TF and Pantheon, they can join the fight late. It looks like just TF is going to match.
They're building up for Baron, and we're debating whether or not they're going to go fight him.
Yeah, TF is matching Cassante, which is really hard for TF, by the way. A 4-level gap. Additionally, I think TF joining the fight late may be impossible. Like, you join the fight late whenever White Lotus is this far ahead with these champions, specifically Hui and Varus.
You're basically
there's no fight to join. Jonicus has to flash. And it's not enough. The ultimate comes out. Oh, it is enough. Meanwhile, Zerathorn does not care that there's 2 people here. He's treating the TF as a minion. And because Nox Lucifer is here, that will be the Baron start for White Lotus. And I don't think that RAWR can even get the cross-map play onto Cassante. TF is ulting in just to see them. Trying to miracle steal. Not going to get it, but he's too close! They have so many ways to get over that wall. So Magikarps will go down for that attempt of a steal with a Q, I guess. And Zerathorn's just chilling here.
Saying, yeah, this is nice.
I mean, that's what he's been doing all game. Just sitting in a lane, farming minions, and hoping his team can crush it. And they absolutely did.
They absolutely did. They said,
yep. Pantheon might be looking for an ult here because Nox is playing a little aggressive, but I just don't see it. Meanwhile, Disgrace is in the area, so if they do go for it, they will have a rude awakening. Asol just going for the minion wave clear, so I don't think they're being baited by Zerathorn right now. You might as well do this as White Lotus. You got time until the soul spawns. You could arguably just use the Baron to end the game, but why not collect soul? Get some style points. So bait them in, see if they come for it, fall for it. If they don't fall for it, just get the soul.
Just grab it. It's all good.
Yeah, and Zerathorn's just going to sit bot lane. He's not even going to look at the dragon. Just do what he's doing. Because no one can stop him. I believe if they committed all 5 members of RAWR onto Zerathorn, there's a good chance he could get out. Assuming that he plays closer to his team. So he could just sit here and pressure towers. Baron's still on. Look at this. Yeah, gold card him. Okay. Channel Q. Yeah, look at all the damage. Nice damage. Purple shield, too strong.
Yeah, his purple shield isn't even moving.
Essentially, yeah. And part of that is because obviously TF is an 80 carry at this point, and he didn't get any auto attacks off, because if he did, that would be suicide, but no one can stop Zerathorn, and they certainly can't stop the 4 members of White Lotus that have now joined him.
Looks like that's gonna be.
Alright, gold card him, Q him, breathe on him for 10 minutes, he doesn't care. Meanwhile, you get rooted, you get stunned, and Ito goes down. Jonicus is surely next, stunned again. Zerathorn going with the ultimate just for flashpoints. The Daz getting his 8th kill. Will he get his 9th kill that has been predicted? It's going to be close.
Can he
no,
keep
they
his
give
numbers?
it to Sejuani. I doubt Nox will fall to his way. We'll have to see. The Daz does not get it. The Daz 8-1, falling below his average. What a player that you could say that.
Why
With 8-1.
Game 1.
And that's less than his average for kills in a game. Yeah, stop and think about what you've drafted, because the cheese is not working.
Yeah, that draft did not work out as well as I think they were really
Sometimes
hoping it might.
standard is standard for a reason. And White Lotus has shown us they know the reasons. Um, it's just unfortunate because when you start with a draft like this, there's not much that you learn. Like, you learned, oh, they can play the standard champions well. Okay. The meta is pretty good for them. But everyone knows about the meta, so how do you adapt your draft into that?
I don't know.
So I really wonder if Jonicus has some other kind of support here. The supports, to be clear, that Jonicus has played on stream. I did not watch his week 2 and week 1 game. I don't believe he was on the team at that point. But
The
last week and
dad's
this
was
week,
not in week 1. He was
yeah.
came in starting, I believe, week 2.
For Jonicus, his support picks have been Udyr, Cho'Gath, Nautilus, and Pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
The Pantheon did not work out this game. Nautilus is a pretty similar champion. I believe that RAWR is going to ban Senna all 3 games. So Jonicus really, really, I really hope that he can pull out something else. Or he can coordinate better with his jungler to make it work. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what you have to hope for the draft adaptations, because that was quite the stomp.
Sorry for the momentary pause. I'm trying to get all the teams back in the lobbies. Yay! Because that's what we do around here. Goalkeeper, invite. I already got the other team. Grace. And then, yeah, cool. I got the people
Okay.
I can get.
Okay, so you're gonna see a lot of the same bands, pretty sure. But
Think-
I'm hoping that RAR has decided maybe we should play some meta champions.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
RAR has gone blue side, so they do have chances at first pick. I mean, I don't hate going back to something like the Acel top for what it's worth. That did its job. I mean, there were not issues in the top
survived
lane.
most of the game.
Even
But
though
as
Acel
in-
looked like the most crazy pick, I mean, it worked. It was fine. It didn't put pressure, so I guess you could argue something like Renekton or Tryndamere could have done more to protect the bot side by just putting out that pressure. But it
Mhm.
would have put pressure out had the game not collapsed by 10 or 15 minutes.
I personally like, as someone who doesn't fully understand, all the intricacies behind everything, which is why I'm not an actual caster. I didn't feel that the Acel actually brought anything. By in
Yeah.
game, everybody was too strong for him to do much to, and at the beginning of the game, he was so busy up top that trying to keep up and what have you, that he didn't really have an impact. I don't feel it was a impactful or useful pick.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If your team has lost the game by 15 minutes in, Acel's not going to be like, oh, well, it's fine. I am the perfect 15-minute champion. That's just not his job. So it's not that it would have brought something to the early game, but had the early game gone differently, it would have brought something eventually. It is true that if your bot lane collapses like that and your mid lane collapses like that, then having Acel top is not going to be what you need. Anyways, we are getting into draft. I'm expecting to see a Senna ban from White Lotus. RAR goes with the Udyr ban. Okay, so they don't want Edogar to play Gwen, I'm assuming. Senna ban immediately. Blitzcrank
Yep.
also banned.
We were expecting that though.
Yeah, I don't know if RAR really has a ban here. They banned Maokai from the last game, but you don't really learn what the strong points of a team are if your entire team collapses. But
I'm
White
liking that
Lotus
they're
lets
banning Zac, but is there anybody on RAW outside of Doki that really plays Zac? Nox. Nox Lucifer.
it's a really meta pick, and I don't know. I guess you just like I could look at the match history in solo queue because I don't believe that they've played it in our league. But this is a really interesting pick. So they let up the Yone for RAR, but because they're blue side, they pick it. So the Daz doesn't get to play it; he has to play against it. And then White Lotus goes with Karma Sejuani, kind of similar to last draft. It could even be Karma
Alright.
instead of Maokai in the support, and just draft the same thing. So what is RAR going to adapt with other than the Yone, which you know is not like, oh, I really want to play Yone. It's more like, if I don't pick Yone here, the Daz plays it. So we don't even
Yeah,
know how
so we gotta.
comfortable Vesperize is on it. Renata is a really nice pick, though. It's nice to see Jonicus pick up a support that does something different than go in.
Let's
It's
see.
like similar team fight, kind of similar laning almost, but just a little bit safer at the same time. Mordekaiser pick is really nice with the Yone. Picks up that magic damage. It's also a flex, so it's hard to ban here for White
So
Lotus. Meanwhile, they
from
pick Olaf.
what I can
So
see about Vesperize, he has played Jone. It doesn't look like it's a lot of games or that he's very good on it yet.
yeah, and Yone is not one of those champions that you can go in with 3 or 4 games and be like, okay, I've played Yone. I know what he does. He definitely has one of the weaker laning phases in the game, and that can make it hard for someone to pick it up, and play it like any other mid laner because you can't.
Mhm. Nox Lucifer also plays Yone.
Oh,
Again,
interesting.
probably not at the same level as as the Daz, but like I don't know. Vesperize does have a 67%. That's
Okay,
pretty high.
so they've gone with a little bit of spice once again. Not as much spice as last time, but the auction is not something you ever see in coordinated play. It is definitely. I mean, it has to be like some kind of matchup thing where you want to play into the Olaf, or I mean, I'm not sure. Like
Or
Akshan is just
targeted
never
pick.
played, so it's hard to say why he's been picked. Nico as well. So not
I've
a
seen him
typical
in a
80
number of
carry.
videos. I've seen a
Not a
number
typical.
just last week, I believe. Oh, I believe. Did I lose you again? There's Cassandra pick. Hey, she's probably going mid. Oh my God, Scarlet, come back. Yeah. So there's the drafts. I don't know where anybody's going.
um, sorry about that. I interesting. So Ezreal Karma bot lane's pretty standard. Olaf is probably top lane, and I don't know about the rest. What is going on the left side? You know,
I have no idea.
we will have to update you with where the roles are going, and then we'll talk about the lanes because it's kind of hard to talk about them without understanding what's exactly happening.
Uh,
So
yeah.
pretty soon we will be able to tell you exactly where everyone is going. I'm really curious to see where Akshan goes. Let's see. So looking at this,
Well, we know we're
it's
not
probably Olaf and Cassiopeia for your solo lanes for White Lotus. So which matchup do you want as the Akshan Yone? And then who's going bot lane? Is it Akshan bot lane? Like, I guess it is Akshan bot lane because I doubt they're sending Yone or Nico bot lane.
Yeah, I have
But
no idea. I have no idea. Like, there's
the more I look
the
at this draft and try
combinations
to
that
figure it
could
out, the
happen.
more the more I look at this draft and try to figure it out, the more confused I get. Honestly.
Like, I can understand White Lotus's draft, and then
Okay, it
I
is
look.
Yone top.
Okay, it was Yon top, so it's probably what Renata and Nico
I know you're
or
asking me
Akshan.
because I should have more experience with this, but I don't know.
Well, our producer says it should be Akshan and Renata bot lane.
Okay. Mordekaiser jungle, Nico mid, and it is Akshan and Renata bot lane.
You are correct,
Okay.
producer.
Producer is correct. Points to producer. Make sure his
Points
paycheck
to the
gets raised a little
producer.
bit. Anyways.
Yes, you did. Ah, sorry. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
predictions are life. So if you want to bet points while we try to figure this stuff out.
I mean, it's a gamble, right? No idea
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. I mean, last game was RAWR brought some random stuff and it just didn't work out. So we'll have to see if this random stuff and throw it at the wall and see if it works. And we will see if
We
it
will
works
see.
after we return.
Uh, yeah, after we return in about 60 more seconds. Because we're still here. Peace.
Yep. And Akshan is secured in the bot lane. Jonicus is playing Renata. Did not doing some kind of swap. Ezra
Okay, we're
Karma,
good
good
for our
lane.
break now.
Okay.
All right, we can go to break. We'll see you again.
I've been sitting, resting, and drifting. That was all that I had. But no more, said no more. I faced it. My scars won't have ghosts. No more. You will never love me like I do. I would try to forget you, but I never do. And when I close my eyes, I'll know that you're never by my side. You will never love me like I do. I would try to forget you, but I never do. And when my voice feels so light, maybe I'll be just alright.
It's getting dark, I feel the I feel the I feel the It's getting dark, I feel the I feel the
All right, welcome back to RAWR versus White Lotus. RAWR said, "You dealt with our last clown fiesta. Will you deal with this one?" 5 point for both teams. I like that adaptation. You know, no need to go weird level 1s. Doki has not influenced his team here. I don't know if anyone here saw that yesterday. That was quite a thing that Doki did, but I guess it won his team the game. So, meanwhile, here we are literally just 5 point, and it's like kind of, I don't know, surreal how little people are moving.
I really feel like they're like lined up like sports teams.
Yeah, they really are like the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Someone's gonna call hut.
Right there.
5:32. Hut hut. Okay. Anyways,
Too big into the Super Bowl this weekend. Ugh.
so Mordekaiser not starting topside, but he has a Yone top. So I'm not sure if that's going to be pressure on the Olaf because he wants to help Yone, or if it's going to be pressure on the bot lane because he has Akshan Renata. You know, both are valid strategies. Zero going for the cheese, by the way. This is really hurtful for Yone. He does not really have the capabilities to take this trade early, and Zerathorn on Olaf has the lifesteal. So trade goes in favor. Oh, but that last Q kind of evens it out. You really got to watch the tornado Q. Like, honestly, lose CS to dodge that thing. That thing hurts.
Feeling more spicy this game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely going to be a lot more fights top lane than last time. Let's see if Ado can hit the top lane Q. Never mind, we're going to go somewhere else.
We're back. We're back.
Level 2. He's not paying attention to level 2. Ito is in a lot of trouble. The second Q is definitely going to hit, and it's going to be first blood. Ito doesn't even flash it, and he doesn't respect the level 2. Meanwhile, level 2 down here also goes in favor of RAWR. So suddenly the cheese is kind of working. Ito was kind of like, you know what? I saw my team wither and die on the bot side before. I'm going to get first blood, and I'm going to be the problem, okay? You think the Daz can carry on Yone? Watch out for the Ito guard.
The Ito guard.
Wait, what am I talking about? Zerathorn was the one who gets first blood.
Right?
I wanted to make that symmetry so badly that it just completely... Okay, back up a little bit. Zerathorn was like, you think the Daz can carry? I'll carry. Meanwhile, Sejuani Prowl here, there's not enough ways for her to get out. She does fool them for a little bit, but has to flash. Meanwhile, top lane, just top lane things.
Top lane things.
Ito only has a Doran's Blade, 2 Doran's Blade boots, and a sword. But he does have the wave advantage, so Zerathorn can't go quite hard on him.
He's got to back off just that little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Prowl is here. Ito is not respecting it because he has to get the wave in. And I get it, you really want to crash that wave, but you're certainly going to die for it.
You saw him down there. You saw him in river. There's no way you couldn't see him.
Daz is in trouble too. Looks like he might be fine, but I imagine they're going to bring the Sejuani soon because this wave state is not good for the Daz. He has to walk all the way around Raptor Camp, so he's lost minions already. And somehow he has to stop this pressure, and it's going to be with Prowl's help. Prowl's not going to farm a camp in between this. He's literally... Oh, I think he's taking Crab and then going mid, but he absolutely needs to go mid. He does get Crab, and he will be supporting... I don't think they're one of the kill here. They'll take it if they get it, though. No, that's the fake one. Come on now.
That's the fake one.
But using Prowl as pressure there, just to ensure that the Daz can get a recall off. Meanwhile, Nox going for a linking, but there's a really good ward on the side of White Lotus that will spot him out. Looks like Nox is not that attached to this gank. Ito still going aggressive despite being behind. Yes, Yone E is a really good trading tool, but you have to be careful trading too much whenever your jungler's on the opposite side of the map. He does have the wave control again. This time the wave is so big and there's not a Sejuani, so I think he gets the crash. He will not die for it this time. Daz has not gotten bailed out, by the way. The Sejuani pressure did not give him a back timer, and he only has a tier. Yeah. And that tier is not giving him enough mana. The Daz might be on the wrong side of a solo kill in mid lane if he's not careful. Finally deciding to recall is going to have to use TP and give up part of a wave. So the Daz is not doing as well as you would hope compared to his last performance, but he is on Cassiopeia versus Nico, so kind of expect some kind of pressure there. Meanwhile, Ito has no way to get out of this. The second Q is going to go through, so he has the tornado, but it's not enough. And Zero Thorn just kind of runs him down.
I think, you know, he likes the ground up there.
Yeah, Zero Thorn decided to go, or Ito decided to go with a completely different pick this time, from the Acel to the Yone. Still very weak in lane, but it just gives you the illusion of having power because some people don't know how to play into Yone. Looks like Zero Thorn knows what to do. So they're going to get Void Grubs on the side of White Lotus again. Again, choosing with their tempo to go for the Grubs instead of the Dragon. Now, it could be because Zero Thorn is so strong and the Daz is so weak, so they have to go for the Grubs. But RAWR is taking the time to go for the Dragon.
At least they're not going to give up on the
they're
possible.
looking at the Dragon. Okay, now they start the Dragon. There we go. They just needed to make sure that Prowl was on Grubs first. They didn't want to start and have a Sejuani come in. So, meanwhile, Ida going for a trade again, whenever he knows Sejuani's here, is very scary. Xeno does not have mana, so there might not be enough follow-up, but Prowl is here. Ito does not have flash. He is able to walk out, so it's not the worst trade, but it's definitely risky. Is Ito contemplating something? Okay.
I don't know.
was thinking my screen froze for a second there.
No, he just kind of was standing there.
Okay. He has the ultimate. He might go for the play. I think this is going to end poorly. He doesn't even land the first Q, so I don't think Ito's going to get baited, but he decides to go in with the E anyways. Thorn absolutely will run him down if he gets the chance. Doesn't want to play too much into the minions. Hits the Q, however, and that's the signal to go in. Ultimate out. Does not block the ultimate, but it doesn't matter because Prowl's also here. The stun's going to come through. They're going to give the kill to Prowl. Interesting. And Ito falls for the 4th time. It doesn't really matter who you give the kill to if it's only 150 gold, right?
Yeah, it's still early.
It looks like the stream is paused. Am I reading that correctly?
Second. Yep.
Okay. I apologize for giving you the radio broadcast for a second.
Yep, now we're all paused.
Let's see if I can get our producer to recognize the situation.
He's working on it already.
Gotcha. So we're just gonna pause here. I'm gonna note the time. It looks like the stream paused at 6:30. 6:30. I got that on my screen. Again, we have ways to work around this.
I can say my spectate on the other game is still working, so you should be able to try and reload back.
Our producer thinks it froze for everyone, but I have the ability to play. I just paused because I wanted to not spoil the game through other stuff. So I'm still in.
Yeah, it's just really laggy.
Oh, I'm just.
Oh, you're messing with time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe the game is still available for us to view.
Just so you guys know, we will try and get it back to where we left off.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, so
I'm just talking to the stream while you guys do your thing.
So, no matter what, we will be able to get the game broadcast again. It's just going to be a small pause. So the only kills on the board are against Ito. Kind of hard to talk about anything else here.
Well, tell me about the items that I have set up while you work with the producer.
Well, Ito has a lot less items than all. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Let's go into the items. Yeah. It looks like 9 minutes. We're just gonna. Okay, yeah, I got you. Okay, so we're gonna skip a little bit ahead. Let me just try to scan through and see what happened.
I believe.
Like I said, I radio broadcast a 4th kill on Ito.
And then, White Lotus took. No, RAWR took Dragon.
Yes, they got the Dragon for the Grubs.
Yes.
Okay, so it looks like actually not much happened in the time that we missed. We're gonna be at 9 minutes. Ito is still 0-4, and no one else has a death on RAWR. And the kills are all in the top lane of the jungler. Okay, and we are in there, it looks like. So we will bring that to you soon. And it looks like Ito is in trouble again. Like, unironically, it's happening again. It can't keep happening this way. No, Q forward! Oh, it's gonna be a tower dive! He lashes out!
Oh, you're gonna
doesn't matter because it's Olaf!
Poor Ito.
But Nox is here. He flashes over. It's the Olaf, so I believe that there is gonna be a kill on someone other than Ito.
What?
And it
There
goes down.
There it goes. The shutdown.
My goodness. So Ito is
Oh.
not alone. Someone else has a death. Mordekaiser
Somebody
got a
else
lot
has
of gold there.
And it's on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, actually, if you're gonna feed 5 deaths, it's really good that the person that got the majority of the kills died as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you look at the score, it's 1 to 5, and you're like, man, this is really doomed. But honestly, number 1, it's only the top side of the map. Number 2, the deaths on Ito were ridiculously low amounts of gold towards the end there. And number 3, the death on Olaf was a lot of gold. So that's why the gold lead is only about 1k right now. I can't do math. 2k right now.
That's hard.
Which is still a lot. But again, it is all on the top side of the map.
Everything's been kind of focused around that top side.
Yeah, it's kind of what I expected of the last game, honestly. I
Yeah, that's
expected
what I
them to
expected in
bully
the
him
last game.
on the ASOL, but instead, it's just him getting bullied on Yone. So the 6 Void Grubs absolutely will go to White Lotus. They seem to prioritize that a lot. This dragon, however, unless Olaf comes, I don't believe that the Sejuani gold will make that much of a difference that RAWR doesn't try to fight it. We will have to see. So expect to see some fireworks around the dragon, and if that goes poorly, then it's lights out, I'm pretty sure.
So we're going to
Okay,
see any
Nox
action
going-
in the bot lane?
Yeah, Nox is going for the lane gank, and there's not a ward this time. Magikarp's baiting him in really well. Disgrace eats forward, but we're looking mid
the
because the
direct
Daz
to
has got a really
camera.
nice trade. So it looks like it doesn't turn into anything bot lane. Except for really low health bars on the side of RAWR. I don't know how they ever fight the dragon. How do they ever fight the dragon? They have to recall both their bot lane and spawning in 30 seconds. And actually, Magikarp goes down whenever the jungler of RAWR was there.
Bye, Magic Class.
I
Painful.
mean,
Painful. Direct to camera.
It is very rare that a game like this is so hard to see a way to come back that like you can't even talk about the ways to come back. But I mean, it's what Vesperize and Nox, I guess. It's all on them. Or maybe Ito can get maybe Zerathorn disconnects and Ito gets a kill onto Zerathorn. Or he goes for a really crazy tower dive. He's going for it now. Ult's in. The shield is really good. The E is actually amazing because now Zerathorn's stuck on the wrong side of the tower. And maybe what I said was bringing back to life. The ultimate hits, the Q hits, and Zerathorn goes down. And a solo kill for Ito.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
Ito must feel so
Daz-
good.
The Daz is able to just walk away, use the ultimate, but now Prowl is here.
Okay.
Noxus still has ultimate, so who will he take? He takes Prowl, gets stunned, but he doesn't care. The Q will hit. Oh, the flash actually makes Prowl live, but he's still gonna die to the W and Spike Burn. And Nox is actually the only way forward for RAWR, but it's a good way forward because he just secured by himself the Mountain Drag. There was no chance that RAWR got that Mountain Drake until that play.
Now they can be happy.
Yeah, now they get it for free.
Yeah.
Karma and Ezreal are, they're like,
Thinking
oh, I'll
about
walk towards the dragon. I'll ultimate and I'll steal it for sure. It's not gonna happen.
I don't know. We've seen some people do stuff they
That's
weren't
true.
supposed to.
That's true, but this is 2 dragons for RAWR. And
Yes.
usually as a team that's down 2k, you don't get 2 dragons. It's very helpful for scaling into the late game with your Yone Mordekaiser.
What do we got here?
Another thing is that it's Infernal Soul, and due to the reworked Infernal Soul with the field,
Uh-huh.
I feel like it heavily favors the team that's behind. So suddenly you're kind of doing it, right? You've got 2 dragons.
So you're
Yes,
taking
you're down 2k gold, but
So if you're ahead and you take the dragon and you get the field, then you're buffing your enemy?
essentially,
Is that what's
but
going on?
yeah, Infernal Drake is one of the only dragon fields, I think the only one, that it favors the team that's behind. It's an extra catch-up mechanic that doesn't exist on any of the other elemental dragons. So RAWR actually just suddenly has a way back in, not mere minutes after I said that they had no way back in.
They're gonna lose that bot tower.
Yeah, and that's fine. You're gonna lose some towers. You play against Ezreal Karma, you bring the jungler twice and actually die for it, you're gonna lose some towers. It happens. The important thing is that Seoul is so far away for White Lotus, so that's one win condition that's going to be delayed for a long time.
Mhm.
Vesperize tricking them again with the Nico clone.
Looks
And
like
if
you're going
Seoul is
to-
that far away, then the only win condition that's at all close is Baron, and that's kind of risky.
Well,
Meanwhile, Jonik's going a little bit aggressive, acting like he's playing Pantheon again, but now they're all attacking each other. The flash out, and Nox is in the middle of
Oh,
everyone. Picks up the Daz, which is the perfect target. There's nowhere for the Daz to go, and he will fall. Meanwhile, Prowl and It's John looking for the follow-up to at least revenge their mid laner. Olaf's here. Nox is going to go down. That's a big kill for Ezreal. I believe it's like 400 gold. So Nox doing what he can, but whenever you're Mordekaiser and you commit like that and your team's weak as paper, once you get out of the ultimate, you're dead too.
it's still over. Looks
So
like White
the
Lotus
Infernal
going-
Drakes are gonna be very nice, right? Like the first and second Infernal Drake you really feel. But it's gonna be a long time for that. So what is Ito doing? He's going for an interesting play. Meanwhile, they're going on Disgrace with the distraction of mid, so they're not even going for anything. That's gonna be a shutdown. On to Akshan. Ito's like, look over here, and then I'll make your AD carry disappear. I don't know. It seemed very weird for him to EN there.
Pull a rabbit
But
out
it
of my
did
hat.
mean that they tried to secure the Herald more, and suddenly Disgrace was alone. And they punished it.
Now you're taking out Vision. Good job, Jonicus. Probably would have helped you before the last fight.
I mean, it's all on this Mordekaiser right now, right? Ito is going to have to pray for this game to go 50 minutes to be relevant. Although that soul kill on to Zerathorn helps a lot. Akshan is not the AD carry you want to see down in gold. Down a turret. And then Nico is really good in team fights, but I don't know that she's going to be enough here. The
Yeah.
Sejuani ult means they want to fight, but they're not going to find it. Meanwhile, Ito is a little bit too far forward again. I'm not sure he gets out.
Nope.
There is a tower here, but Zerathorn's not afraid of them. Decides to let him live this time. Let him off with a warning. And the times that Olaf can do that are limited. Eventually, Ito will be strong enough to fend that off. Just not yet.
Magic Clap's going in and backing off.
Oh, that's a lot of damage onto him. They have a lot of poke with Karma Ezreal. The Renata W will save him for a little bit, but it won't be long. Meanwhile, Nox looking for the kill again. There's no shutdown this time. Decides
do it
not to
now.
commit.
Boop.
So they got the Herald. They got 6 stacks. That tower is not long for this world. And you have to imagine, surely RAWR gives up this dragon. Surely.
Surely. We'll see.
I mean, Nox could do something really interesting, right? You have the Mordekaiser ult that really helps secure the dragon, except you're also the jungler. So maybe they get a pick.
Mayhaps.
Maybe they steal it. But it's going to be really difficult. Ito
Yes,
does
I
have
do.
teleport
Right.
over Zerathorn, so they could just do an all-in and say, we want the 3rd dragon to pressure Soul. We'll teleport away. Olaf will get the tower. I don't care. We get the dragon. But I don't think that's going to happen because Zerathorn's actually preempting it by walking down without teleport. Looks like RAWR wants to fight this. It is a really good Nico fight. There's at least going to be a steal attempt. Is it going to happen? They do steal it! That's the 3rd dragon from RAWR! They're absolutely losing! This is unacceptable from White Lotus.
Damn.
They're on soul point for RAWR. Whenever White Lotus has complete control of the game.
But RAWR says, "Thou shalt have no dragons."
Essentially, yeah.
You might win this game, but thou shalt have no dragons.
Oh, you know, stopped by the Cassiopeia. Nice champion with the mobility. I'm Cass.
I like Cass. I
Yeah,
used to play Cass.
she definitely is a polarizing champion. I cannot say that I share your fondness for her.
It's a. I like the little tricks you can do with her, but
Mhm.
you know, I'm normally a support though, so I don't play mid very well.
It's an interesting mid laner for sure. The Daz is not performing as well as he did on the Hui, but he doesn't really have to. Ito getting support for
just
the
has
first
to
time
kinda-
this series.
He just kind of has to back up his top and his jungler.
Yeah. Okay, Baron spawning. Honestly, if you are scared of Soul, you could make an argument for flipping Baron. I think it's not ideal, so I don't think that White Lotus will go for it.
You think they're gonna give it to RAWR?
I mean, I don't think anyone's going to go for Baron.
But we're
But
gonna
it
let
could
it
be
sit.
very exciting if they're like, we can't let this game go on, because if this game goes on, there's a real chance that they get one of the next 4 dragons. And if that happens, Infernal Soul might be enough to close the gap. I don't think they're going to force Baron because they just don't have enough damage. I mean, Cassiopeia takes it fast, but she hasn't stacked her Roa yet. I think they're just going to try to get the next 4 dragons. But again, they have to get 4 of the next 4 dragons or in the game before that, or else RAWR has Soul. In a game where RAWR has been consistently 2 to 3k behind, Prowl finds Nox and quickly decides to leave.
Everybody kind of clashing back off.
Oh, this poke might be really big onto Ito. Okay, I thought he was going to do something more. He's just ulting him just for spite. You're trying to recall in my bush? Absolutely not. Alright, if they're not going to go for Baron, then this dragon is going to have to be the focus for both teams. That's in 2 minutes. We'll have to see if they try to force on Ito again. He is worth gold now. Or if they just keep the status quo, try to get tower pressure, and get this dragon. But again, 4 out of 4. You cannot mess up a single dragon.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting to see which way they decide to go, or if they're just gonna.
I think what would be interesting is if RAWR gets the Soul, and then still the game is close, because I'm not sure that Soul will completely make up the 3k gold lead to the point where RAWR's winning. Trying to set up a bush cheese, waiting for someone to come get vision, because you want to get vision around 90 seconds before dragon spawns. So if you're there 100 seconds before dragon spawns, waiting in a bush, you might catch out someone. Meanwhile, RAWR's just all on Baron side. All these traps set up by White Lotus, and RAWR's like, nah, you can have that dragon.
Okay,
You want to get farm. We're going to try to get Cassiopeia. Okay, the recall from Cass, looking to set up for dragon, doesn't want to teleport to it, I guess. Meanwhile,
we're gonna play around Baron.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think White Lotus was just trying to figure out where the hell RAWR was. Like, where are they? We have wards every single part of the red side of the jungle. Are they on Baron? Because that's what you got to be thinking, right? If the team disappears for like 30, 40 seconds, are they on Baron? No, they're just farming.
No. They're just killing little mobs. Caught.
So now RAWR comes 30 seconds before the dragon, which is extremely late, to clear out their own jungle, and White Lotus has already left because they thought RAWR was just not gonna do it.
It's alright, they're back. Look.
It's like an assassin trying to kill you on your way to work, and you show up 3 hours late, hungover.
Right?
The assassin's like, wait, what the heck?
And
this is so much pressure that they're not even taking the dragon, which is also risky. The longer you don't take the dragon, the more that RAWR will be able to scale before Soul is taken, which is already going to be 4 dragon spawns. They finally commit Prowl to it. It looks like he will solo it. Meanwhile, RAWR's like, you're too slow. We're going to start Baron. I'm amazed that the directed camera is not looking at this Baron right now. Yes, Sarah throwing taking damage is kind of interesting, but what's going on in the Baron pit? It's John notices it with a ward, but his team's on the other side of the map. Olaf has teleport, Sejuani doesn't though, and Ezreal doesn't really want to engage. Magic Clap's trying to get out. It's John. Is John getting engaged either now? But because of the Ezreal ult damage and the Cassiopeia on the side, RAWR has to stop Baron. So it ended up working out mostly because the Daz was too much of a threat for RAWR to continue that Baron.
So did RAWR not go after the fourth, or the Infernal Drake for the Infernal Soul because they didn't want the Infernal Soul and they were hoping for a different one?
What they were doing was trying to trade the Infernal Soul for using the Infernal Soul as bait. Basically, everyone knows that RAR wants that fourth dragon. Please give me that fourth dragon. So if everyone knows that, then why don't you do the opposite and just start Baron? No one would start Baron this far behind, right? So you make them all go to Dragon, defending against the steal, and suddenly RAR takes Baron. That was the plan. But because White Lotus correctly played it slow, they send only Sejuani to do the Dragon and call out RAR doing the Baron and are able to stop them with the rest of the team.
Smart. Very smart.
Yeah, just a little bit of like, we know RAR is going to do something crazy, so we'll just defend against it all. Clearing out some vision here to make the Baron sneak possible in the future. But there's no dragon to ward for now, so I imagine that all of White Lotus's wards will be on the top side of the map, just to secure this very reason. And it's John goes in to clear out the vision.
Clean up the eyeballs.
Okay, so someone has to match Zero Thorn. I think Ida was recalling to do it, but he stopped his recall for some unknown reason. Looks like Zero Thorn's just going for the camps. He's not trying to pressure because there's no other pressure on the map. I don't think he wants his team to have to try to flip Baron. So Ito can match Zero Thorn. No harm, no foul. Oh, Vaporize going for an engage. Only gets Karma, but certainly gets her. It's John flashes out, though, and the Auction damage is not consistent. So they got
Not
Karma
enough.
Flash for the entire engage of Nico.
Just some love
Not
taps.
what you want to see your Nico doing, but what other choice does Vesperize have? You have to go for something. Now that Nico ult is down, it's a lot safer to do Baron. And if it's a lot safer to do Baron, then it's a lot smarter to bait Baron. So clearing the vision makes sense. If you all disappear off the map, they have to face check you, and they have to face check you without a Nico ult. Or you could just do the Baron. I'm curious to see if White Lotus will take this time to do so. They're at least getting top priority pretty heavily. Again, RAR does not have the vision here. They don't know where White Lotus is, but they're recalling, so they're just calling the bluff. You may have 20,000 wards around here, you're not Baroning. And they recall.
Feels like a very slow pace that they're all going at.
Right, and this is the problem with giving up 3 dragons as the team that's ahead. As the team is ahead, you're supposed to be pushing down the pedal. You're supposed to be... Oh, Daz finds Nox. Actually, I think Nox finds Daz. The teleport comes in, however. The ultimate's really good to make sure Nox gets stunned, and Zerathorn's going to do enough damage once he gets on to the Jonicus. But Magic Collapse, I mean, they're just leaving Magic Collapse alone and killing Jonicus. Now Magic Collapse is the target. Nox could not kill the Daz in the isolation chamber, and now it's a Baron. And sometimes, you know what, the strategy is, we'll be patient until RAR gets impatient and makes a mistake like that. Yeah, I mean...
That's
how it happened. For RAR? Or not for RAR.
For White Lotus. For White
Lotus. And the dragon is spawning, and it's going to be very hard for RAR to steal this one. Even if they do steal it, it's a little bit harder to say that Infernal Soul will be enough to even compete in this game. I would imagine that RAR wants to put all their eggs into this basket because the game will be close to over even without White Lotus having Soul, just with the Baroned up champions. But they could give this one up and just try to farm.
Oh, goodness.
Top wave is being ignored by both teams, and honestly, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Magic Clap's trying to do some kind of assassination attempt. Obviously, not going to get much done, but it still looks pathetic, unfortunately.
Still looks
Zerathorn's just up 4 levels. And Akshan does not do damage like that in this kind of situation. Okay. Vesprise is the one that has to make the play. Nox could maybe do something. Okay. Magikarp surely cannot stop Zerathorn here, by the way. If they don't give up this dragon, they're giving up their inhibitor. Magikarp is here. Zerathorn thinks it's more, so he does back up. But now there's not enough to really contest the dragon. So I believe that it will be second Drake for White Lotus.
White Lotus.
Okay, Zerathorn playing a little loose here. I'm not sure this ultimate's going to be enough. It's John does use a shield. So Zerathorn is going to save his ultimate for now. But that was definitely a little risky for how far ahead Zerathorn is.
I was saying White Lotus' patience is paying off. That is the lead.
Yeah, for sure. I think that RAWR kind of played into it too much by trying to contest too much or go for plays. But sometimes you play patient and your opponent makes mistakes, and unforced errors are going to win you the game every time. Oh, no. I thought his John was caught for a second. Just a split second.
For that half moment.
Ezreal just a wave clear. Classic.
And then they're pulling back because what's popping? Let's see.
Nothing's spawning right now. They're just trying to get this. They're trying to get the
the
double
wave.
push.
Trying to get their
Yeah. They're gonna get mid inhib tower pretty quickly. Meanwhile, the Daz is working on bot, so there's 2 pressure points right now. It's really but Daz is actually kind of in trouble here. Ultimate is not gonna stun enough people to save him, right? Akshan comes in, he may be under level, but he will still kill you for 2 health. But not if Cedronic comes to save him. And now Jonicus is in trouble. Wow. Daz was definitely caught there and then said, wait, I have like 3,000 million gold more over you. Like, my items are much better than your items. It doesn't matter.
Prowl, like, Daz had to run. Prowl saved his butt.
Yeah. And that's the benefit of having 2 lanes pressure. Because you can pretty much split up the enemy team and then join your team if you need to. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of scary because you can get engaged on like that. But if you're this far ahead, your Sejuani's going to make it in time to save your Cassiopeia. Basically, no matter the engage. So, I don't know if we'll see a soul this game. It has been typical that games this season rely on soul in a lot of ways to really finish out a game. Not necessarily Elder, but forcing soul is like, if they get soul, they win, so now the losing team has to fight it. But the winning team is so far away from soul that they might just have to go for a second Baron and try to end the game that way. It's definitely... Oh, Daz is in trouble again. Has flash up soon, but not quite yet. Stunned, uprooted, and killed. No Sejuani this time.
Shut down.
Oh, Disgrace kind of playing with Nox here. Nox has ultimate. Oh my goodness, he's taking so much damage. He can't even ult here to live. Gonna go for it anyways. On to Prowl, but Prowl can stun. And then he can just stay here and wait. Flash over is really good, but Sejuani ultimates. Oh, but he doesn't communicate with his team. Ezreal has no idea where to go. Meanwhile, Edelgard is in a lot of trouble. Renata W means he can walk away. So, Nox actually living there.
Oh, that was a nice shot. Skill
Nox
shot.
actually pulled a rabbit out of the hat to live there. Ulting to Sejuani, flashing over just barely in the space of the wall. And then Disgrace was just not aware of where he was going. I don't think this is anything because Prowl is here, but they are going for it. Only knocks up Sejuani. Renata ult only on Sejuani, and they just don't have the damage to kill Sejuani. But the root actually lands on Disgrace. The flash forward from Magic Clouds, but now he's an 80 carry flash forward. It's kind of scary. Double TP coming out. If RAWR can escape this, it's really good for them to get those TPs. Xenothorn just running, but there's no wave yet. So
Yeah,
White Lotus used 2 TPs just to save their 80 carry.
Was it worth?
I believe they're going to get this tower, so it's not the end of the world. Like, you take it for an inhibitor, for sure. If they get the inhibitor. There's no Nico ultimate, so RAWR is too scared to engage. The inhibitor will go down, and Dragon spawns in 30 seconds, and Nico ult will be up by then, but it's really hard to set up here for RAWR.
But it doesn't look like RAWR is giving up on that. Push
It
it
is
out
really.
to clear their jungle.
What is this bush? It's John baiting. Magic Clap's not falling for it. Runs away. Meanwhile, they have a really good flank, but it might not. Oh, Disgrace! SDE out, but Yon still hits all of them. But there's no follow-up. Oh, that's one of those ultimates you get as Yon, and you're like, we win the game. Go in. And your team's like, what the hell are you doing? It's just
He's
so
like, what are you
unfortunate. It
talking
looks
about?
so good. But there's no follow-up because Nico cannot get in range.
And here's the dragon.
Okay, they do have Mordekaiser ult. They do have It's John at half health. If RAWR is going to win this fight, it is going to be on the back of Mordekaiser, but Nox is locked up first. But the Renata ult is beautiful. Meanwhile, Nox getting the ultimate off, I believe, on its Daz. So his Daz and Nox shocked in a fight to the death. Proud going to 1 health. Will go down whenever Mordekaiser's out. That's still not able. The Nico ult is massive. And it's going to be sold for RAWR in a game that they were down 2 to 3k at all times. Actually, absurd that it comes down to this. They are still down 5k. They have not gotten a Baron. They have gotten 1 tower. And they have the soul.
Boom!
Uh,
Craziness. So they're going up for Baron now.
right. I mean, they have the soul. They have such
Yeah,
an advantage
they've got
here. This
3
is
of the-
actually their weakest moment because they got a bunch of gold off of all of that, the objective bounty, the kills, and they haven't recalled. But it doesn't matter because there's no teleports on White Lotus. They used it to get to that fight mid.
Try and steal.
I mean, Ezreal's not actually going to steal this. Nox has smite, right? Surely, yeah. That's not going to happen. Okay, surely.
Surely.
And RAWR has been down consistently, 2 to 3k. They're still down 3k, and they just got the soul and the Baron. This all comes back down to don't trade Void Grubs for Dragon whenever you're the team that's ahead. It's not worth it. What if Void Grubs gotten you an inhibitor, okay? How does it feel to have an inhibitor down whenever they have Soul and a Baron? And it also comes down to Noxus Seal 2 dragons ago.
So how does that change the chances of winning for White Lotus?
I mean, it's just completely flipped on its head, right? Like, you're talking about a Nico engage that's going to hurt like hell. You're talking about a level 18 Yone. It doesn't matter how many deaths he has. He has 3 items. He's working on a 4th. You know, that is still a very scary Yone, especially for someone like Disgrace without really any way to get out of it other than his E. I don't know where it's going with that. Obviously, Ezreal's still pretty safe. But if you mess up and get ulted by Yone, that Frozen Heart will not be enough to save you.
Oh, Edgar.
Proud might look for an ultimate here because Magikarp is a little bit vulnerable, but they don't want to fight. And you know what? That's respectable. It's interesting because Nox is split pushing, so it would be a 4v5 if Olaf came up because Olaf would get there a lot faster. But you're still talking about an Infernal Soul team. It's really hard to pull the trigger there.
Oh,
I like how they're pushing with the supers because they still have supers, but it doesn't go anywhere. You're pushing into a Baroned up team. All you're doing is trading gold in front of each other and A-ramming. Meanwhile, Nox got the push into top lane. He got 1 tower. He's going to get a lot of damage on the second one. It's a lot of gold into Nox's pocket. Ito has finished the Guardian Angel, by the way.
okay.
Which makes him an insane threat for engaging. Because he can all in and press R. And even if he goes down, somebody's going down with him for sure.
So what's the next steps?
I mean, Soul's down, Baron's down for 3 minutes. It's honestly like everyone in this game needs to take a breath because something earth-shaking has happened. Like the entire game is flipped on its head. You need a second to be like, wait, what's going on? But Edelgard does not even give Zerathorn that second. Is going in pretty harshly. The GA helps a lot with the armor. The trade goes even. So you take the towers that you've had up all game, right? I said they only had taken 1 tower. Now they've taken 3.
Now
They might even take 4 soon once the super minions stop coming in, which is now. And I mean, it's gonna be another Fiesta at either Baron or Elder, right? And those Fiestas are a lot more explosive than the Soul, because you get Infernal Soul, And the fight is still halfway over, and it's kind of hard to see if that's going to impact the current fight. But you get Elder, whoever takes it, even if you're losing the fight, the Elder can suddenly turn it. So it's all about the fight, but also the smite.
Okay.
Edogaard has the Q up soon, so I think he'll be fine, but he actually E's, so he wants to go for this trade, knocks him up, has to go back soon, but he certainly did damage, and now Nox is here, but I don't think he can catch an Olaf, and he agrees, so he walks away.
He says, meh.
But Ito is still pressuring him. So White Lotus is doing their thing where they're going to try to bait into a bush again, but I don't think it's as effective whenever you're actually behind, which they effectively are at this point. So instead, they go back to mid lane, try to get Prio, and in 90 seconds, the Elder spawns.
Yeah.
I believe the fight is going to be about the Elder because it spawns and also because of how important that buff is. Trading is not usually on the menu.
I don't believe a lot of our teams have actually played to Elder so far this split. Let me see. Hold on. I got this up.
I've seen some stream games. They're not that many. It's usually Soul that decides the game.
You don't need to watch the stream games. That's why we have a master document.
Okay, Jonicus is in trouble, but he is Renato, so he has a lot of tools. Edogaard protects him. Just have to flash. Renato flash is important, but it's not as important as someone like Pantheons or Nautilus.
So it looks like RAWR's games tend to go the longest. They have 4 elders. White Lotus has 1 elder, and nobody else has any.
Well, let's see who will get an additional elder. Magic Claps cannot get this assassination, right? They do get Olaf ult because of Vesperai's ult, but I don't know. I guess maybe it's because I've just been watching him play Akshan from behind all day, but it does not feel like he has that potential to do enough damage, even with Nico there.
Right.
Okay, Olaf is on the flank, but RAWR has position on this Elder. They may start it. Cassiopeia is the one to watch here, I think, and obviously Nico. Ito trying to do some damage, but that E cooldown is pretty long, even at level 18. Disgrace getting some poke in. Oh, Disgrace is gonna eat out, and Ito is in the middle of nowhere. He has GA, so it's not over yet. But the Renato ult goes wide, but Zerathorn goes down as well, so it's gonna be basically a 4v4. But some key ultimates are down. I believe Nico still has one. Nox ults in, I believe, Prowl. So now it's a 3v3 on the outside. Nico ult only hits the Cassiopeia. That's enough, though. The Daz is out of position. Nox gets the other jungler. Now, I believe, Karma goes down. It's just the carries, Disgrace and Daz versus the world. However, Vesperai's really low. They don't really have much damage. This dragon's gonna take a while. Vesperai's messing with the clone. Magic Clap's going low, but he gets rooted. Disgrace is in a lot of trouble. Flash forward actually gets the Daz instead. However, Magic Clap's with the W will survive and kills Israel. That's Elder,
barely.
and that's going to be a lot more than just Elder. It's gonna be Baron. It might be the game.
They're going into Baron, some of them pretty low.
That was really interesting. I think that what happened, I've been there before as that team. You know, you see Ito just come in and die, and you're like, okay, we got this. It's 5v4. We cannot lose. Then Zerathorn is like, actually, I'm in a lot of trouble here, guys. I'm kind of dead.
So what had happened was...
And then the Nico ult just messes everyone out of position. The respawns come in, but you really don't want to fight the team with Elder. So I believe that RAWR is going to recall. Actually, Ito kind of engages here. Tries to ult out, but it's blocked. He will die, but this is still an Elder team. Olaf goes down for sure. Boom! Ito trying to get more. Nico will fall, but so will Prowl. Boom! And I believe that might be the game. RAWR was completely behind the entire game. They only had one saving grace, and that was the dragons. And because of a steal, and because of one miracle team fight at the 6th dragon, they get the soul, they get the Elder, and they get an inhibitor. It's not actually the end of the game. So I'm kind of setting up a little early. That's okay. This Baron fight's kind of impossible for White Lotus, right? You're face checking into a Nico, into a Yone. That's kind of a joke. Magic Claps can actually assassinate someone with Elder, but he will die for it. So it's not really worth it. I mean, Daz is down. So you could say Daz is definitely a threat on the White Lotus team. But you kind of want to keep your teammates with Elder. Meanwhile, Baron is kind of shredding their MR. Ezreal does a lot of magic damage. Nox is at half health. The Baron also at half health. I believe they will get the Baron, but there might be a fight afterwards. Olaf is teleporting in, has the ultimate. Ito gets flashed out of by Disgrace, but Disgrace is still in a lot of trouble. The E damage will be enough, but he will die, actually. And Disgrace lives because of a Karma Shield, I believe. And RAWR gets the Baron, but also loses the fight, and I still don't know what's going on. These are the two leading teams in the league. And it's just a bunch of fighting.
Yeah. Definitely. So we have the big one. We have the dragons. We have when is it's coming up soon?
I mean, every major objective has gone taken. I believe there's been 2
Right.
Barons this game. And an Elder.
Yeah.
And
Big
guess what? Elder's spawning again in 3 minutes, so that might be the next change in the game.
It's
Unless
three
someone makes a
barons, isn't it?
massive mistake. Oh, it might be a mistake here. The Daz caught by the jungler, but Nox is really strong. The Daz is not. The ultimate does save a lot of time, but there's no one coming. So the Daz is still in trouble even after the ult time's out. Gets knocked in. Nox solo kills the Daz.
Dun, dun,
Meanwhile,
dun.
Magic Clap's doing assassination things the way he was meant to do. But Zerathorn doesn't care. Nobody does care.
Oh, he does care.
Ultimate says CC immune. It does not say death immune.
He forgot his cloak of invulnerability
Oh man, I hate when
in
that
the
happens.
shop.
Alright, so that was the major mistake I was talking about. This might be lethal damage from RAWR towards White Lotus's base. The mid inhib is already down. The wave, however, is really far away, so they have to play through bot and top, which do not have supers.
Mm-hmm.
Ito looking for some poke damage. I didn't know you could make your Nico clone teleport. That's hilarious. Or no, that's recall. That's recall. Okay, I get it now. It's a Baron recall. A lot of damage coming out for both sides, but Nox is getting this inhibitor by himself. The Daz is up soon with ultimate, so maybe they stop just short of the Nexus, but they are able to possibly threaten the end of the game. The Daz is up now. Zerathorn still gone. Ito looking for something, goes back.
Oh.
Renato ult buys enough time for them to kill the second Nexus tower. There's no way they survive the Nexus, right? Surely the Nexus goes down, but no one's targeting the Nexus. Vesperized Ganya's and Nox Lucifer is low. Magic Gloves is hitting the Nexus. It's hard
Oh,
to
there it
defend.
goes.
And it will go down.
It will go down.
That was a game.
Dang. RAWR came back. Okay.
Yeah.
So we win this
And,
game.
that's
1 for
why
1.
slow and patient is really reliant on finding those mistakes. Because if you play slow and patient whenever your opposing team has 3 dragons, sometimes they just say, you know what? It's our game. We're going to take it.
Yeah,
Wow.
for sure. Like, that is crazy.
Yeah, RAWR put out their assortment of magic tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I can't say that it was a full success even though they won. So I'm not sure that they're going to go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
But they won, you know.
Well,
They're
now we
still
get
in
to
the
see
series.
what interesting lineup they pick for draft.
Right? Are they just going to pick out something crazy again?
I mean, this
It
one
looks
worked out for him. It did eventually work out for him, but yeah.
I mean, what picks really worked out for them? Magic Claps was not able to use the aggressiveness of Akshan in the entire game until the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yone, I'm gonna say, was not going to plan. Let's just say that.
No, Yone did not go to plan.
Nico did pretty well in the team fights, but
Mm-hmm.
it was certainly your strongest lane. But it was still struggling. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess Nox did really well in the Mordekaiser, so maybe you repeat that. But
Yeah,
it's
Nox
still
was very scary on the Mordekaiser.
It's very tough to say that the draft should be repeated just because you won.
Yeah, no, I hope they change it up a little bit, but I hope they get some stuff that isn't completely throwing us off, going, I don't know where that guy's supposed to go.
I mean, it's RAWR. It seems like that's their MO. And you know what? They're the leaders of the league still. I believe they're both tied in games now,
They are.
right? Because
They
it was
are.
six
They're
to
still.
three,
They.
7-4.
Yeah. They're keeping the
Uh,
tie. They are like
yeah,
insisting.
somehow they figure out how to draw this game. So White Lotus is going blue side this game, so Yone will not be picked, assumedly, right? Because RAWR was willing to leave it up because they were going to pick it, but there's no way they're going to give the Daz Yone.
No.
Daz,
Not if
honestly,
they
was
want to
not
win.
able to show up that game. I mean, he brought his kill average down way low, despite being ahead the entire time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I mean, they did good. They did well. I think overall, I think
yeah,
they did.
Daz did fine. Don't get me wrong. Like, I wouldn't be like, if it was another player, I wouldn't be saying, oh, the Daz needs to pick something else. But because it is the Daz and that's your carry, it is noticeable whenever he doesn't get the amount of kills that he normally does. And it makes you think, like, is it just because he was told to play safe? Or is this something we need to think about and actually actively change?
Yeah.
So I
It'll
wonder
be.
how that will go. I believe the draft is going to start soon. And I expect to see
Yeah. There's
Cinnabon.
the draft will start in a few minutes. There is a slight AFK for
Oh,
Potty.
classic AFK. Classic
Yeah.
needing to use the restroom.
Lobby
Silly
Potty.
organics.
Daggone genetics causing us to
One day in the future, we will be able to play League all day without having to use the restroom. And I think that will be a brighter future.
a brighter future.
Could you imagine?
Oh my gosh. No.
If you're gonna play League for 14 hours straight or above, please stretch your legs. Do not get a pulmonary embolism. That has been your PSA for today. And honestly, drink some water.
Who took blue side this time?
White Lotus.
White Lotus took. Okay. Setting up the predictions.
I mean, it's a
Last
total gamble after the last two games.
so first game we had people predict on either side, and then game 2 everybody predicted White Lotus. So when RAWR won, nobody got anything but their points back.
No one played the
There was
odds?
nobody played the odds.
Well, let's
So
see if someone is a little bit more believing into RAR
yeah.
after.
So I'm prepping that, so once we get the draft, we can see what's what, then we can start our predictions, and hopefully we'll see somebody win out on game 3.
Instead of a draw.
Instead of, well, they can't be a draw for the teams
Surely.
because whoever wins this game 3 is going to be above in wins overall.
Oh, I was just imagining they somehow break the game and it's a draw. Okay, draft is starting. Gwen banned for the third game in a row. Udyr banned for the third game in a row. Senna? Senna banned for the third game in a row. Yone? Nope, Blitzcrank. Okay. Okay, but Yone though. But Yone. Mordekaiser ban is very smart. But Yone. Will it happen? You're thinking. Daz is hovering over it like, lock it in, lock it in.
If
Daz
you
is
don't,
ready.
I'm taking it.
Daz is ready.
Yes.
Oh,
They're
if they ban
debating.
it after all this, it'll be so anticlimactic. You can't ban it now. There we go. Maokai ban. Will it be the Yone pick? Or are they thinking it's a trap? They think it's a trap. They actually pass it off. Actually, it's kind of not a trap because RAR can't pick it after last game.
No.
Could you imagine? RAR picks Yone here? No. No offense to the players that may have been playing Yone, but I don't believe that White Lotus is scared of the counter pick here. However, Zach got
They
through.
did leave Zach. That means Nox is going to be on Zach.
It's possible. A lot of top
Nox
laners
is
have
the
been
other.
picking up Zed.
Well, Nox is the other Zach player on the team.
Gotcha.
So I
It
expect
is
it to be a
probably going to be
Zach.
Nox, yeah.
Yeah, I expect it to be a jungle. Oh, show.
Twitch taken is very interesting. Poppy into Zach makes a lot of sense. I have not seen Prowl on Poppy yet, but I expect it is very solid.
You cast
Pretty
yesterday. Who played Twitch yesterday?
Oh no, you're attacking my memory. um, I know it was. You got rid of the weak things last time.
She was gonna try and cheat and look at the sheet.
I don't remember.
All right, no worries. Keep going. Let's see.
Milio's very interesting to pick before. I mean, Miliovarus makes a lot of sense. Renata taken and Yone gets through to the second ban phase. White Lotus is not willing to take the Yone whenever RAWR clearly has a plan for it. Oh, Seraphine.
Seraphine.
Seraphine's very different, by the way. That is not a champion that matches with any of the other champions that Jonicus has played.
Oh.
And so it could be Seraphine mid, but very interesting pick. It could be okay. You know what Jonicus is wild to do and could do. It could be Seraphine 80 carry and Jonicus on Twitch support.
That's possible. I've seen
I mean,
some pretty mean Twitch supports.
I'm just saying RAWR has gone too standard here. I know where these champions are going. It doesn't make sense. That's not RAWR.
Well, I can tell you, looking at Jonicus, he doesn't have any games on Seraphine.
It looks like that ban is a misinput. It is an echo ban. Yeah, I don't know with Jonicus. It's always something interesting with that man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm looking at
Wait,
his
ban?
OP. His OPGT right now. And I don't see
ASOL ban. They were scared of the top lane ASOL, and I don't blame them. I mean, it could work a lot better with the bot lane that's going on here. Corky
Alright.
pick, begging for the Yone to be picked.
They're like,
White Lotus
please
thinking
pick
a lot
it.
about it. I mean, they
Please
have literally
pick it.
gone 5 bans without banning it after banning it 2 games in a row, so they clearly think they can handle it. Does White Lotus call that they do?
There
The
it
Daz
is.
will be playing Yone for game 3, the decider of the match, and also who is in the lead of the league. Yone versus Corky.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, thank you for the sound effects. It was
I'm
not dramatic
trying.
enough.
It's what I do. Oh, goodness. Who you rounding it off with, White Lotus?
It's got to be some kind of top laner that they're
Ornn.
willing to blind pick. It's Ornn. Classic blind pick top laner. Classic. And what do you pick into Ornn? I hope it's not. I mean, it's not either of the first two, but honestly, with Aesol and Yone being the earlier picks, it could be literally anything.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Syndra top here. It is
Oh, the
actually
debate that must be
factually
going
going
on.
to be a Yorick top, which is still kind of wild, but within the acceptable range of wild that we're used to. You know, like there's Yorick top and then there's Aesol top. So, you know, usually be like, oh my god, it's Yorick top. This time it's like, oh, it's Yorick top. It's kind of standard. Interesting. Okay. Really nice team fight from R, by the way. Zach jumps in Seraphine ult, and then Corky just and Twitch lay down the power. And you cannot Milio ult the Zach ult. You try to Milio ult whenever Zach's on top of you, and you are in a little bit of trouble still. We will confirm the role picks. However, it is pretty clear to me that it's going to be Twitch 80 carry Seraphine support. As much as I hyped up Jonicus for doing some random stuff, I don't think he's that out there. We'll have to see.
Predictions are live. So if you want to make your bets, you got 5 minutes.
The Yone versus Corky is kind of interesting. They're both scaling champions that can't pressure each other. So it's really on the junglers. Zach obviously is the pressure jungler that you think of. Poppy less so, but she can still do it. But both of them are kind of still gonna want to look bot lane too, right? You got Twitch Seraphine, easy ganks for that. Milio Varus, very well known for doing pressure.
Excuse me.
You're right, confirmed top.
Yep,
Zach
as we
confirmed
thought.
jungle, pretty sure.
Yep. See, I was right. Woo. There's the pop.
Congratulations.
I know, it's my first correct pick all by myself.
And Yone is on to Daz. We did it. A
Yep,
Yone
we
game for
called it.
Daz. Once we confirm those last 2 picks,
Come on.
let's see. I'm kind of curious about the junglers pathing. I feel like both junglers have played really well the first few minutes. You know,
Mhm.
I've noticed a lot of times in some of the other leagues that sometimes one of the jungler gets a lead on the other.
Yeah.
But this time, both junglers have been very consistent. White Lotus has consistently tried to go for those void grubs, and it kind of bit him up last time.
Yeah.
Let's see
But
if
it
he goes
worked
for it
for
for the
him game
third game.
1.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because they got the dragon as well. We will now see
man.
who is the 80 carry for Magic Claps. It's gonna be
Who
Twitch.
is it?
It is Twitch. Okay,
It is
and then
Twitch.
Seraphine will be played by Dronicus. All right. With that, we will have to see how it plays in game, because we will be right back with the game after this break.
Break.
my past, thinking in my dreams. The music I was young and dreaming. I'm so fast, and I don't believe. Thinking in my past,
Okay, game 3. White Lotus versus RAWR. We've been hyping up the Daz on Yon all day. Will it deliver? 5 point once again, by the way. Maybe they'll stand still once again. Very safe play from both teams, which makes sense. Not really either side wanting to go in. I mean, I can't imagine a level 1 really being appealing for either team.
Let's see how they play it. I like the pink.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah.
I want both junglers to path towards bot lane, maybe.
I want to see who
So
clinches
we'll
first.
see what they do.
Well, slides into first is more like, because they'll still have
Yeah.
2 matches left.
I mean, this will be quite the statement, though, for either
Yes.
team. I mean, White Lotus saying, okay, you
It's
can't
ours.
keep giving Daz the Yon. Come on.
Or
But
RAWR
if
saying,
RAWR is able to lose game 1 like that, almost lose game 2 like that, and then beat the Daz on Yon, how does White Lotus recover, you know?
bragging rights.
It's not just bragging rights. Like, that's just a negative modifier to your mental for the rest of the season.
No, the Daz is shaking off.
That's fair.
Know him well enough.
Okay. Crashes on 1, a little scary to do versus Yon. You do not want to get level 3 to him first. And if you crash on 1, it's really hard to build up wave 2 and 3 to be ahead, get the push, and get level 3 before Yon and make sure to have that health advantage. As you can see, Daz actually hits level 2 first because of the crash on 1, but the trade doesn't go in his favor as much as you would expect because of how far away he was whenever he initiated. Meanwhile, Magikarps gets level 2 first, so it's going to be them zoning out the bot lane of White Lotus, and top lane is going to be much different than last game, I assume.
Oh, we'll see how it goes. Like,
If I was a jungler, I'd be looking mid here. Both junglers looking to farm right now, but this is such a volatile situation. Yon gets level 3 first. That's the one thing I said he couldn't do. Corki is one of the weakest range characters to play, so you can't punish Yon. Can't punish Yon that much. Will this mean the Daz gets to pop off?
guess we'll find out.
Basically, yeah. Top lane, Edelgard's got a really nice wave setup here. That's going to be a nice crash.
Very pretty.
Junglers
very
are on
pretty.
opposite sides, but I don't think that Nox is going to be in position to gank. Maybe there's like a really weird line where he lane ganks because the wave should be pushing towards Edelgard now, but I think he just wants to get Crab. It's a really deep ward from Edelgard just to make sure that Nox doesn't have to get contested for Crab. I guess he was just face checking it really, because there is no ward. Look at this. The Daz is level 4 first. Vesperize has no health advantage and is low on mana. This is really scary as Corki. Okay, E does not have the second Q. Still take that trade though with the shield on W and the extra E damage. But Nox is here. Walks on a ward.
So let me clean that up real quick.
Yeah. Really fortunate for Daz to have a ward there. Usually you ward somewhere else because it's Zac, but for once Nox walks in. Meanwhile, Ito's in a lot of minions. I don't think it's. Oh, the flash forward onto Corki. This is the pressure that he cannot handle. And Yo can just E back, so he's actually gone. Prowl's too tanky. And that's one of the average 9 kills for the Daz.
The count has begun.
Oh, Ito's in a lot of trouble here. Will die for standing in that minion wave for so long, and I was not expecting a solo kill top lane. But there it is. The solo lanes are in a lot of trouble. Like, it's not just, oh, you got solo killed, but you got solo killed in matchups that you cannot afford to be behind in.
Right. And
Nox could make a play down here.
Nice dodge.
There's enough CC. Really nice Zac angle if he wants to go for it.
Oh,
Vesperize has to pray and hold on to this lane. It's going to be very difficult.
yeah, a little bit. Daz is a bit aggressive when he's on.
I mean, he has every right to be. Nox just
Right.
showing to make sure they get the crash off. Okay, here's the question. Will Proud use his winning mid lane to take Grubs again and allow the Mountain Drake to be going over to RAWR? It looks like that is the plan, but he's not on Vision right now, and Yone is so far ahead that RAWR might not make the trade for Dragon.
Push back in the tower.
Ito is in so much trouble here. Being behind on Yorick this much is kind of scary. He does get to a point where he can still 1v1 pretty easily. I like how Vespers is like, you know what? You're going to try to bait me with that recall? Finish it. See if I care.
Yeah, get out of my face. I'll kill some minions while you're gone.
Void Grubs go down, but Zach is in the base, so there's not going to be an easy trade onto Mountain Drake.
Sorry.
Bot lane's just
okay.
going to be a poke fest. Oh, no, you're good. It's just a question of if Ito can actually push out this lane. Because he's got way too many minions to just sit back.
Yeah.
So how does he play on Zerathorn's side of the map whenever he's down health and down items?
Apparently like that. It gives him a nice little smack.
Oh, he's getting knocked up? Maybe, not quite. The spirit comes in. Zerathorn actually has to flash, despite being ahead in everything. So, Edelgard, not as far behind as the solo kill would have you believe.
He's very confident in himself, and that's good to see.
Yeah. You can solo kill me 2 games in a row. I don't care. I'm coming back to your face.
It's time we
And
hang
it is kind of just Yorick things now, and now we're just watching Yorick things.
Yes.
So RAWR is getting the first dragon because of the jungle and bot lane tempo. That will be Mountain Drake over to RAWR, and if you could choose what objectives you could get as RAWR, they would absolutely take the Mountain Drake over the Void Grubs. So once again, despite the Daz getting a lead for his team, and despite Zerathorn getting a lead for his team, they have chosen an objective that most people would say is not worth it. And absolutely cost them the last game because they had to give up Soul.
Yeah, it worked for him last game, so.
However, there is something to be said for having 6 Void Grubs. I mean, in game 1, it certainly did a lot.
It did.
Even in game 2, whenever they were ahead, I mean, those 6 Void Grubs snowballed quite a bit. Just not enough.
Nice, just kind of cleaning up lanes.
Might walk into a Zac,
Oh,
though.
fine,
This is
it is
not where you
Zac.
want to face check and ward. There's enough CC that it doesn't matter the bot lane is late. It's still Twitch Seraphine. Disgrace has to walk all the way over here. It has no flash. But there's not quite enough damage. Seraphine ult isn't up yet because he's level 5. Zac jumping in again, but not able to pick anything up. So Disgrace actually gets out only using the Ghost. Meanwhile, Zerathorn brings up the jungler. Edelgard in a lot of trouble here, but they do combo correctly. I don't think that. Oh, but the stun misses, and his Ghost is enough to just walk away.
Oh, that's. Even the Ghost gets away.
Oh, I think that this is a dead Corki. Flashes forward to follow the W. The E damage is enough, and that is why you ban Yone against the Daz. 2 of 9. It's interesting that they picked Corki into it. It seemed like this was their big counter pick. They had planned to play into Yone, and they were like, we will just play Corki. And while that might work on paper, you have to be amazingly good at Corki to punish a Yone, in my opinion. Because you're talking about a matchup. Oh, Prowl is finding Edelgard. I don't think he'll be as lucky this time. No Ghost. The knockup hits this time. They will give it over to... Actually, just walks away.
He made it.
The wall of minions is too much because their auto attacks are so slow.
So Vesperize plays a lot of Corki. So we may see it come around a little bit further once he gets some good items and stuff.
I hope so, because if you're losing to Yone now, it's really hard to be like, I'll just outscale. That's not how that matchup usually works. But Corki is one of those champions that outscales almost everything, so...
Yeah, the past.
Zach here has a really good angle, and I don't think Zerathorn has the fancy shoes that Edelgard has. So Nox will get another kill. Or the first kill, first team, really.
Yes. Yes.
Void Grubs again go over to White Lotus. This is all 6 unless Nox can steal one, but they don't even see it, so just an inkling that they're there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Corky pick it up a little bit because he's got a 75% win rate on Corky. So I do expect
We will have to see if White. We'll have to. Oh, Daz going for Edelgard misses the ultimate, but surely the fancy feet do not save him this time. Prowl helping him a little bit, but it's not enough. And Edelgard is not able to walk to safety. So last time White Lotus made a few mistakes on some of the early dragons, right? The second one was because that was game 1 where they went for Ace Hole and lost a dragon for it. If they make similar mistakes this game where they gave the first dragon up for Void Grubs, they lose a dragon to a steal, they lose another dragon to tempo, we could see a lot. Oh, he's going in against Yon. It's very scary, but not quite enough follow-up from the Daz because he used the ultimate top lane. So Vesperize just gets the W in, damage him, and walk away.
Anyway, you were saying?
Oh, yeah. If RAWR gets any amount of dragons here, again, so dragons early really help the scaling team. Not because, oh, I got the stats, so wow, I'm Mountain Drake, I'm so cool. But because the longer it takes for Elder and Soul to spawn, the harder it is to take down the scaling team. And this time, they don't have Akshan. They have Twitch. They have Corky. They have Yorick. If RAWR can somehow manage to get another dragon, the scaling will be very difficult for White Lotus to beat without Soul.
True.
RAWR want to fight this dragon, but the Daz has pressure. He's getting the minions into the wave. He's got ultimate soon. Not quite yet, but it's still really absurd to think that they're going to fight this dragon. Corky, I believe, has package, so it might be worth it, but still. Corky recalls. Edelgard is getting a lot of damage as Zerathorn has to flash out again. And it looks like RAWR dissipates their pressure on dragon. They know that this one is not theirs. They're not going to get the miracle that they had last time. Okay, Zach's looking for a steal, so I could be just completely wrong. But surely...
Come on, Prowl.
Surely this is not a steal again. Here he comes in, he smites early to try to trick out Prowl, but Prowl correctly smites. And now Nox is pretty deep in there, has passive, gets the flash out from It's John. There's not quite enough damage, so RAWR gets the leave. But now Yon is here, but the flash out from both makes the Daz ult away.
It missed.
But Edelgard does get the tower. So all in all, gold is even. Dragons, even. Scaling, honestly, even. You're talking about Corky Seraphine Twitch versus Yon Ornn. At the end of the day, like, we're gonna see quite a long game, is my prediction here. And it's really gonna come down to some mechanics from the Daz and rockets from Vesperize.
I don't know, you may see some crazy plays off Disgrace. He did some pretty cool stuff the first game, so.
That's true. Varus can definitely influence the game just by our button, which we might be getting here. Okay, that might be a little bit too. I was like, it'd be so cool if I said
cool.
that. Also, Yon with Grubs is kind of insane. Look at that damage to tower that hasn't been touched all game.
As we go quiet. Da, da, da. Sorry, we're all watching.
Daz is on Ito. Kind of hard for Ito. He's just walking in a circle. He doesn't know where to go. The wall's not going to save you, buddy. Zach is here, so maybe the Daz is in trouble, but now Ornn and Poppy are here. So Nox is the one in trouble. He has passive, goes down, but no one's teleporting to that. I can tell you that right now. So Nox will also be going down, and that'll be the Herald for White Lotus. You ever been that Zach that's just like, please, someone, I'm begging you, teleport to me. And your teammates are just like, stop trying to bait me to my death. You're insane. And he's like, please, I promise you, if you teleport to me,
It'll be
we will
good.
win this fight. We will
I will stand
2v5.
back up.
We will win this fight 100% of the time. It's not gonna work out that way.
Not usually. Not usually.
Okay, so White Lotus kind of snowballing through their own. They've gotten so many objectives off him. They got the second dragon this time as opposed to last time. They get all of the purple stuff, all 6 grubs plus the Rift Herald. They get top tower purely off the Daz. They have a lot of pressure on mid, but trying to fight back. I don't think you 1v1 him over. It's the Daz on Yon. What are you doing?
Oh,
He's gonna die to the E damage, surely.
oh no.
Zach is here,
Zach.
and now it's his turn to try to 1v1 the Yon. I believe that this is just gonna dissipate, but man, people really want to take on the Daz.
Don't do it solo. That's my
I-
suggestion.
I might have to update my prediction. If the Daz pops off even more, this game is not gonna last very long.
It's all good. It's all good.
Quirky is getting Mana Moon. It's Mana Moon. It's not going to be enough just getting that though. There's got to be at least one other item for that to be a Quirky that's actually going to influence the game. Twitch is doing pretty well. Even levels. Exactly where you want to see him, basically, based on the lanes. But Twitch very much is going to rely on the Zac engage and the Seraphine engage. So it really isn't up to Magic Claps if they win this game. Other than maybe a few assassination attempts. And I believe that the Twitch assassination attempts will be a little bit more successful than the Akshan attempts we saw last game.
What's crazy is we've watched all these fights, and I can't tell you I've seen Twitch. Oh, there he went.
Bot lane has been very quiet, and that's fine. If you're Twitch, you're okay with that. The Daz might not be getting 1v1 here. Zac is in the area. He thinks, oh, you would fight me?
There you
But then
go.
Zac appears, and it's not just Yorick, and Edogar gets 900 gold. Oh, wow. Did that take in a 1v1 too far?
I told him, don't do it solo.
I mean, you know, it's the Daz on Yon. Of course he's going to try.
No, I meant no. Don't go after.
Oh,
Yone
don't fight after
solo.
the Daz solo? Fair enough, fair enough. Alright, so this is the Daz dead right before Dragon spawns, but he has teleport, so they can't really leverage this into a Dragon. It's also Ocean Soul, which is a lot less impactful both map-wise and Dragon-wise for the team that's behind. But the gold is basically even. The objectives favor White Lotus barely. And I believe that the Daz is still pretty much a major threat, but other than that, it's pretty even across the board. Prowl is going to do Prowl things, of course, like the 2 kills don't hurt. He'll certainly live longer, but it's not going to be the snowball potential that Yon has with 4 kills, for sure.
Oh, shoot.
RAWR wants to fight this dragon.
They do.
They have the push in bot lane.
There we go.
Even in mid, they're starting it. I'm not sure if they really have the capacity to start it. Look at how much Ornn pass ult is gonna hit everyone. Imagine the Ornn ult, but it's not coming out yet. Xeno's waiting. Poppy ult, however, gets a lot of people out, and now the Ornn ult just gets Edo, and that's all it needs. Edo goes down for sure. What about the rest of RAWR? Vaporize is coming in. Poppy stops it. Now the rockets are here. The Twitch ult is here. Prowl is low, but the Daz is untouched. Zerathorn is untouched. Here comes Zac. There's ZC, but there's no follow-up. Finally, the damage comes in, but the damage gets knocked up by Daz. Daz takes down Magic Claps. Daz takes down Seraphine.
Prowl.
And Quirky gets to live. But
Daz didn't take out Seraphine. Prowl got Seraphine.
I mean, it was basically okay. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I must retract my earlier statement. The Daz did not take out Seraphine. It was actually Prowl.
It was
Thank
Prowl.
you for understanding. I am working. I am listening and learning. Okay.
No, you're fine. You're 100% good. We're just always talking about poor fucking Daz. I'm like, poor Prowl.
No, Prowl's done great this game for sure. That ult was essentially what won them that fight for Prowl. It set the Daz up perfectly.
Yeah.
Isolating Yorick was really good. Edo went down basically without any of the if you look at the team fight damage, if we could do that, at the moment that Yorick died, RAWR had probably done about 0 damage. And that's not because like Yorick was caught. It was the Poppy ult making sure that Yorick didn't
Right.
have a team to follow up. So Prowl absolutely did great that fight. I just like talking about the Daz because they gave him Yone, and it's not working out for RAWR right now.
Understandable. Understandable. It's easy to get carried away. I mean, I get carried away.
Mid tower is in a lot of danger here, obviously. Corky working on a second item. The Daz getting Ito again.
Oh.
This time Zach is here, sure, but the Daz could just walk away because Yone just does that.
Yep.
Cool champion.
Zach and Ito guard going, this worked a moment ago.
I mean, it might not work here. Ito might actually, because Zach is backing here. If Ito's not careful, he will get dove.
Yes.
Oh, Nox cancels his back. They think they can bait the Daz. How will it go for them? We'll have to see. Nox
Seraphim's
getting a
back,
word,
yeah.
so the Daz is aware that Zach is here. But does that deter him? Yes.
Yes. It's like, it's okay. I'll play with these guys over here.
So Corky Rockets are not hurting yet. No, they're not supposed to.
yet.
I mean, it's still pretty early in the game. But the
Yeah.
fact that it's Ocean Soul and White Lotus already have one really dampers the effect of the Corky Rockets even later into the game. So the longer this game goes, Corky will hurt, but it will be offset slightly by how many Ocean Drakes White Lotus is able to get. Meanwhile, Zach is not here. The flash forward. Ito does not have flash, does not have ghost. He does get ulted, and he will die, and then Yone goes all the way back to the midpoint of the lane, because that's just what Yone does.
Nox grabbing his jungle. Proud grabbing his jungle.
Yep. Nox is
And
like,
Seraphim
I should have
is-
just been a babysitter, I guess.
Probably.
Poor Ito. I should have just stayed in the tri-push forever. Sometimes in this jungle, you just really feel like you wish you could just like farm next to your laners forever. Okay, vision clear from
Yeah.
Baron means that RAWR has to put a little bit of effort into making sure they're not doing it, but it's unlikely, especially with the Daz bot lane. He has to teleport in. He has no ultimate. I don't think that White Lotus is going to start Baron. I don't think RAWR thinks White Lotus is going to start Baron. Daz going for another 1v1. This is surely just to get a bit of damage off. I don't think it'll be lethal, but as I say that,
As
he
you
almost
say it.
dies. What is that? What is that?
Oh,
What a champion. What a player. What a player on the champion. If only there was some way we could make sure that that champion was not on that player, or that player was not on that champion.
right.
I mean, obviously there's other things to talk about this game. I believe Prowl has played amazingly, as you said.
Hmm.
But if this plan was to counter the Yone with Corky, it is not working out yet.
It is not. I was expecting to see a little bit more from the Corky at this point, but maybe
He has
maybe
malignance.
he's just going a little bit.
This is where the R button starts to hurt a little bit. There's
Mhm.
only one Ocean Dragon on White Lotus, but they also have a Milio, so it's kind of like, yeah, you can get some squishy poke, but it's really going to be the Rockets with the Twitch ult, with the Seraphine ult. So basically, they have to line up everything, and they have to line up everything while Daz is trying to ult their Twitch, and while Poppy has the ultimate to get someone out of there.
Right.
White Lotus prepping the dragon ahead of time, as you're supposed to. Ito's really late to this, so I'm not sure they're going to contest it. You can have your Yorick show up late, but if your Nox is here now, what is going to happen? He's going to have to go down. And again, he flashes out ults, but the Seraphine ult hits everybody, but there's no follow-up. Daz is here. Daz is here to kill the entire backline. He's decided not to yet. He has to E out. Twitch doesn't get much. And Nox finally goes down to his passive. The knock-up hits everyone. Magiclaps goes down. Yorick goes down. Everyone goes down. Vesperize, you're not escaping Vesperize. And that will be the second Ocean Drake for.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 9 kills, by the way. I think he's gonna run up the number a little bit to make up for last game. It was just unfortunate because Ito didn't have teleport, so he had to walk all the way down. Nox wanted to get the vision ahead of time, and he thought for sure he was safe because he has Flash, he has his E. But Poppy shows up with her W, and it
Mhm.
doesn't matter if you have the Seraphine ult to end all Seraphine ults because Yorick's not there, Twitch is late, and Daz is on your backline.
Yeah.
And White Lotus is not making the same mistake as last time. They gave
Which
up the
is good
first
to
Drake,
see.
sure. But now they have 6 Void Grubs again and 3 Dragons. So it's not looking likely that somehow RAWR pulls out a soul.
And they're passing by Baron. Okay, so it's not going to be a Baron right now.
Not yet, not yet. They could go for it any time. They could probably win even if they somehow throw it Baron, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, just let the Daz cook. Put them in the side lane. Put them in the kitchen. They'll come up with something. I don't think Nox can really find an engage here. He's really just looking to get vision, make sure they're not on Baron. But they see Prowl, so they just, want to get vision. Soul will be spawning in 3.5 minutes. I don't know if RAWR can make their last stand there. Usually it's like Soul spawning. We absolutely have to win that team fight. We have to go. We have to press go now. But
Mhm.
after that last dragon fight, it just seems really unlikely that they believe they can win that fight.
But they thought they could, and we're gonna see how.
You can't ask Jonicus to have a better ult, right?
No,
Usually it's
he
like,
did good. He
if
did
we get
good.
the perfect ultimates, if we do everything right, but Jonicus had the perfect ult, and they got completely crushed. You have to wait for Vesperize to get more scaling. And if you wait for Vesperize to get more scaling, you're going to be against an Ocean Soul, which kind of negates the scaling of Vesperize.
True.
Meanwhile, Ornn giving upgrades. There's already an Infinity. I want to know the item names. I have to look. Edge of Finality and Seething Sorrow and the Unspoken Parasite. Yeah. How do you scale into that? It's the Unspoken Parasite. No one even speaks about it, is how scary it is. But we will be fighting it. Zac comes in, the nice block there. Vesperice has to run away, but the flash follows, dodges the ultimate, but it might not matter. The E damage is just too much. Meanwhile, Zerathorn trying to get out. There's nothing to match the Q with, but it doesn't matter if he's slowed. Unstoppable, but in the wrong direction. Zerathorn will go down. Daz is actually getting kind of hit by Magic Claps. Flash out, really well done to dodge the Q. But now he's too far away. Okay. That's not a real Baron start. Okay. Prowl is here. Could face check again and make some real things happen. Yone has teleport. Oh, the ultimate onto Seraphine. Jonicus is not going to get an amazing ult this time. Dies only getting It's John. And now Baron has to be on the table while the Daz is pressuring bot lane.
So it is time.
It is time. It might not be time yet.
Oh no. Yes, it is.
They're clearing
Maybe?
vision.
No.
Oh, Magic
Dang
Claps
it.
behind the Daz. Corki in front. They're gonna try to do an assassination attempt. 1,000 gold could go to the lucky winner who kills the Daz. Jump in. Q is gonna hit a minion so that way he can Q the Daz. Flashes in. Ults as well. Daz has E, has ult, hits Twitch. Is gonna kill Twitch. Will he kill anymore? Vesperize going down for a lot of damage, but flashes out.
Back.
Nox going down now. The shield from the Daz means that he's able to kill the Nox.
Edelgard
Still
step
will
in.
go down. Meanwhile, White Lotus has done a little thing called the Baron buff.
The Baron buff. I wanted to see that. I've been asking for it for like 5 minutes.
Well, it happened off screen, just like the character death off
And then
screen.
Director Cam said,
Okay, let's be real. Baron buff, okay, yes, it was worth it for White Lotus, but in terms of epic fights, Baron buff or the Daz, sending your entire team to kill the Daz was more epic, and I'm glad we got to see it.
yes, I'm glad we got to see it. It was good. I wish they had stayed long enough for us to actually see the Daz die, but it's whatever. Because that was the end of the fight.
The soul is spawning. Daz will not be here in time. He has to teleport in, which is kind of awkward. RAWR's here really early, which is nice. Last time they had to face check and Nox got kind of caught. This time they're all around the dragon. The Daz is committing to top lane, which means he has to teleport in late. So watch that teleport and see if RAWR can react appropriately, because their only hope is to catch out the teleport and play it well. Vesperize also has the TP in, which means the
Out
poke will not be there early.
Prowl
Actually
was
going back for home guards and maybe the package. So that way he can teleport in appropriately. Gets the package, I believe. I didn't hear it, but he's walking really fast. Start the dragon for RAWR. The Daz is not teleporting yet. Poppy ult completely whiffs. They can't fight this, surely. Edoguard is getting there. They get the dragon. The Seraphine ult means they can maybe get out, but Zach wants to go in. Teleport is behind. Watch the Daz here. Disgrace may fall, but the Daz is behind. Comes in, ults two people. Those carries are dead. Magikarp is half health. Will die to the E. Edoguard dies. Now Nox is in trouble. Gets knocked out before he can jump. Daz is absolutely carrying the fight. Yes, there's a passive, so they can't chase Donicus. RAWR get the dragon, but they lose all of their carries.
Daz is chasing Jonicus down.
Oh, Jonicus, no.
He's like, I want a penta.
Outsmarts him? Oh no, I think he just wants the wave. He doesn't even care. Daz is like, you're not worth my time. I want that inhibitor. I mean, RAWR was able to stop the soul with White Lotus having Baron. They got the Daz's teleport. So like, it's a very thick cloud and a very thin silver lining. But if they can hold here, they might be able to turn that into something. Vesperize is in a lot of trouble. Doesn't get hit by the Q knockup, but the E damage kills him from a mile away. And now you just have Magic Claps and Jonicus to deal with all these Baron minions, and it's not going to be Magic Claps anymore. He's gone. Edoguard also gone. No, down on healing. Okay, Edoguard also gone. Nox Lucifer will also go down, and this is a message to enemy teams. A quadra kill for Dex, 17 kills for the Daz. Getting ulted into the fountain for Zerathorn.
Hey,
And
don't
Prowl
be
just
big.
seems to also get ulted in because they really want to kill him. Okay, Zerathorn. Oh, okay. Go back to what I was saying. A quadra kill for the Daz. A penta. They win the game.
That
I
is
think I'm
game
finished.
though.
Yeah. Whoa, they got the
Congrats to White
game.
Lotus.
Wow.
No
Okay.
teams in
Back to what I was
Sentinel.
saying. Essentially a pentakill. A quadra kill for the
They
Daz.
tried. They tried for it. They really tried for it. If you fight White Lotus, ban Yone.
That does seem to be the message, or at least don't counterpick it with Quirky. Because
Right.
Quirky has got to be one of the hardest matchups to play into Yone, I believe.
I think I really do honestly think he picked it thinking it was something he's played a whole lot and would have a better chance at being able to like bounce off of it, but it did not work out for him, which is sad.
Some takeaways from that: RAWR likes to play scrappy.
They do.
White Lotus hates first dragon. They'll never take first dragon. Give them 6
Right.
grubs, please.
3 games, they gave it up. They were like, yeah, grubs.
And the Daz, I believe, secures his 9 kills per game average with that 17 kill game because it matches out the second game not having quite as many kills.
Mm-hmm.
Look at, it's just so absurd how different the Daz looked between Cassiopeia and Yone. I believe that his performance the first game on Hui was also pretty similar. So it's not necessarily like a one-trick situation.
Yeah.
But if you were facing the Daz, you've got to shut him down early, and I don't think you can do that with Quirky.
No, you have to break his mental early, and sadly Corky is not strong enough early game to be able to do that break. So definitely Corky, no. Pick something else.
But you know who would help you find a counter pick to Yone? A coach from Coachify.gg. It's a platform for esports coaches to track their students and grow their business. And they can tell you all the ways to counter Yone and the wave control that you need to have in the first 3 waves to make sure the Daz does not get 9 or 17 kills in your game. It has 0 commissions, it's free to join, there's course tracking, and a PayPal integration. It's perfect for coaches to figure out how to defeat the Daz on Yone.
Indeed. And
Indeed.
it's worth like we've had a lot of teams in previous splits that use coachify coaches and they did really well. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
definitely worth at least checking out. Or if you're a coach, go sign up. You know, get you some business.
Yeah, and I think that coaches would be able to take a lot from these games.
Yeah, they could definitely help a lot of teams break
There was
down
a
and stuff.
mhm. There was a lot where like it felt like the teams could just have a little bit more direction, especially in game two
Mhm.
for White
Yeah,
Lotus. But I mean, you can't really criticize them. They just have a
they did
17
really
kill
well.
Yone in game three. So
Right.
it's just give the Daz a carry and let it happen. Let the sparks fly. And
Indeed.
that is why they are league leaders right now on top.
Yes. They have
And definitely threats going into the future weeks in the playoffs.
Yep, they have claimed White Lotus has claimed their seed one spot that they now have to hold for two more matches to come out seed one.
Mm-hmm.
8-4
Mm-hmm.
right now. So good luck. Good luck. RAWR is gonna be coming for that.
Oh yeah, and perhaps they will try some more interesting picks.
Mm-hmm.
I believe this is the most standard draft I've seen from RAR ever
I mean,
in this
needlessly
division.
large rods talking in Sentinel chat has also, they brought up a really good point. All four teams are guaranteed to go to playoffs. Even
Yes,
though we've got 2 more weeks of regular season. So regular season is a great time to test out different things and play with different drafts and see what you got because once playoffs comes, that's when your wins and losses super count. So
that's true.
outside of seeding, play with those drafts, see what you can do.
Are you
Don't give
saying that
Daz
we might
Yone.
see Jonakis on more standard supports in the future?
It's possible. It is absolutely possible.
Maybe they'll
So
forget to
we'll
ban
see.
Sona in the future. Senna in the future. I really want to see Jonakis playing Udyr and Cho'Gath again. Thank you guys for joining us for this tumultuous stream. Quite
Yeah.
the quite the games.
Thank y'all for putting up with the paperwork girl pretending to be a
Hmm.
caster for a night.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, it
yeah,
happens. You did
yeah,
well.
it happens. It does happen. It does happen. Freak was working on his PC, and so due to technical errors, was unable to make it. So you guys get stuck with me all night. Hopefully, we will
Well,
see him soon.
yeah.
Yeah,
And thank you guys for watching. See you tomorrow for Crusader.
Crusader. Yeah,
Yep. I knew that. I was
Crusader.
testing
Yep,
you.
yep.
The owner of the league. I was testing you.
Crusader, our Emerald player.
Crusader tomorrow. And if not, come next week for seeing a game between two of the four teams in this league. Not sure which team will be featured. Kind of interested. See what happens, or at least a look at back at the drafts that RAR cooks up for next week.
Hmm.
Thank you guys so much, and see you next time.
Thanks, guys.